In a shocking turn of events, Camilla completely loses it when Kate is caught wearing Princess Diana's most treasured heirloom. Why is this heirloom so important, and why is it causing such a stir in the royal family? Stay tuned to the video to discover all the intriguing details and see how this moment is changing the dynamics within the royal family. What do you think about Kate wearing Diana's heirloom? Could this spark a major controversy in the royal family? If you think this will change everything, leave a 1 in the comments. If not, leave a 0. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss more dramatic videos. The tiara was not just any royal accessory. It was the most precious heirloom once belonging to Princess Diana, the most beloved woman in the memory of the British royal family and in the hearts of millions around the world. Diana was not only the mother of 2 princes, but also a symbol of compassion, courage, and the wounds that were never fully healed. For Kate to wear this tiara was not only a formal gesture, but also carried a deep, meaningful message. Queen Camilla's smile, despite holding a powerful position beside King Charles, suddenly grew strained. Her eyes flickered as she caught sight of the tiara, a keepsake that carried not only material value, but also memories of a deeply controversial past. According to whispers behind closed palace doors, Camilla was said to have lost her composure. To her, that crown was a symbol of a woman whose shadow she could never escape, Diana Charles's first wife and her former rival in love. Was this merely a coincidence or a carefully orchestrated move? People are beginning to ask, could Kate be sending a powerful message by choosing the tiara so closely associated with Diana on such a significant occasion? And right in front of Camilla, Kate, the woman long known for her silence and for staying above royal infighting, now seems to be steadily stepping closer to the role of future queen and winning more of the public's affection with each passing day. In the palace, where every gesture carries political weight, symbols often speak louder than words. Crowns, jewelry, even the colors of an outfit, each is carefully chosen to convey subtle messages understood only by the most discerning eyes. And in that world where every smile is measured, where every bow might serve as a statement, Kate's appearance wearing Diana's tiara could hardly be seen as mere coincidence. No one expected that the one to break the silence would be Princess Catherine. Once considered too reserved, too safe in her demeanor, Kate is now quietly shaking the foundations of the British monarchy with steady, strategic steps. In her recent appearances, she is no longer just the perfect wife standing beside Prince William. She is redefining her role, a woman of poised purpose and a clear message. Many believe that Kate is not simply asserting her position, she is also seeking a form of historical justice for her late mother-in-law, Princess Diana, who endured turbulent years due to Charles and Camilla's affair. Kate's fashion choices, the specific jewelry she wears at major events, no longer seem coincidental. Each one appears to be a carefully chosen symbol intricately linked to Diana's legacy, a quiet yet powerful statement that her memory remains alive and worthy of honor. The moment Kate wore the lover's knot tiara, a powerful piece once worn by Princess Diana right in front of Camilla, it was more than just an aesthetic choice. It was a wordless affirmation, a message delivered with quiet confidence and a deep understanding of royal history. Royal watchers insist this is no longer a matter of fashion, it's a meaningful strategy. Kate doesn't need to say a word. Every time she appears, every piece of jewelry she wears tells a story of continuity of memory and of a woman quietly redefining power within the royal family. Not through conflict, not through struggle, but through resilience, grace, and intellect. In the royal spotlight, where everything is on display, but not everyone sees clearly, Kate has chosen to make her voice heard with quiet strength and commanding presence without ever speaking out loud. While Camilla continues to struggle for public sympathy, Kate is embraced effortlessly, almost unconditionally, much like Princess Diana once was. Her mere presence is enough to awaken memories the royal family may have hoped time would quietly bury. Each time Kate walks the red carpet, it's as if Diana's shadow walks with her, gentle yet defiant. And for Camilla, no matter how hard she tries, she cannot escape the past she so desperately wishes to forget. But Kate is not stopping at symbolic gestures. She is more proactive than ever in asserting her role within the royal family. From her polished media presence to launching impactful community initiatives, every move reinforces her image as a truly deserving future queen. Each step appears carefully calculated, as if sending a clear message a new era is coming. And in that era, there may be no room for a legacy as contested as Camilla's. What was once Kate's hallmark gentleness has now been replaced by a calm, resolute determination. She no longer avoids Camilla. Instead, she looks her straight in the eye, not with hostility, nor with harsh words, but with a gaze that clearly signals the shifting balance of power. On numerous occasions, Kate has quietly outshined Camilla not through effort or rivalry, but simply by her natural confidence and grace. Remarkably, Kate has never publicly criticized Camilla, nor shown contempt, nor engaged in open conflict. Yet it is precisely this silence that carries an immense weight as it speaks volumes without uttering a single word. For Camilla, who now holds the title of queen, the threat is very real. Kate's growing influence combined with her deep connection to the public is undeniable. And for those who once loved Diana, every step Kate takes feels like a silent yet unmistakable declaration. I am here not just as a royal family member, but as the one who will restore the honor Diana never got to fully preserve. Many believe that Kate is not only strengthening Prince William's position within the royal family, but is also quietly bringing an end to Camilla's silent reign. A reign built not on complete love, but on waiting compromise and the unfinished pieces of history. Those close to the family say Kate understands deeply what Diana endured not only from William's stories, but also through the unspoken pain in his eyes every time he speaks of his mother. So this is not just a power game. It is a journey in search of justice. A silent yet fierce battle between truth and image. A battlefield without swords or shields, where every gesture and every glance carries weight. A confrontation where the victor doesn't need to raise their voice, just walk steadily and let the public feel it for themselves. Camilla, who ascended to the throne of queen, not through public admiration, but through time and endurance, is now under greater pressure than ever before. She understands that the crown she wears daily is becoming heavier, not because of its physical weight, but because of the expectations she cannot fulfill. Nothing weighs on her more than holding a title she knows she has never truly won in the hearts of the public. And the most painful part is that every time she appears, people don't see Camilla. They only see the shadow of someone else. Not just Diana, but Kate. A Kate who is gradually being seen as the embodiment of the justice Diana never received. A Kate who exists not through spectacle, but through calmness and dignity. She doesn't need to fight openly. She doesn't need criticism. Because in the world of symbols, silence is the most powerful voice of all. People have rallied behind her. In the eyes of the British public, Kate is no longer just a royal bride or even a future queen. She has become a living symbol of compassion, dignity, and the continuation of the legacy that Princess Diana once left behind. Diana may never have had the chance to complete her own story. But through Kate, that story is being rewritten with grace, calmness, and above all with an inner strength that cannot be underestimated. If one day Camilla is forced to step back, it may not be because of a royal decree, but because of a far stronger force, the silent yet powerful will of the public. And Kate is the one who has awakened that force, not through loud speeches, but through the way she lives through her image and undeniable presence. When that day comes, if it ever does, justice for Diana won't arrive in the glare of scandal or heated controversy. It will come quietly, softly, like an apology whispered by time, like a discreet smile of truth restored. It will come through a woman Diana never had the chance to meet. A woman who now bears the heavy responsibility of righting historical wrongs, wearing a crown weighted not only with diamonds, but also with expectations, unhealed wounds, and the longing to be acknowledged. When that moment arrives, it may very well be the first step toward the salvation the British monarchy needs more than ever. And then the moment arrived on an evening that seemed ordinary at the royal family's biggest event of the year. Everyone expected a smooth, glamorous night with no surprises. But then Princess Catherine stepped out. No one anticipated that what would silence the entire room wasn't her gown or her usual radiance, but the crown she wore on her head. Princess Diana's favorite crown. In that very moment, the atmosphere shifted. Queen Camilla froze. The smile that had been playing on her lips slowly faded away. And according to those behind closed doors, she broke down in tears. Not because of the crown itself, but because of everything it symbolized. A quiet wave of surprise spread across the room. Conversations continued, laughter still echoed, but something had undeniably changed. Those paying close attention sensed it. The silence carried weight. It spoke volumes without a single word being uttered. The crown had appeared before, but this time it carried a completely different meaning. It was no longer just a beautiful accessory. It was a symbol, a memory, a message. It reminded everyone of Diana, not merely a royal mother, but a deeply influential figure, an icon many believe has yet to receive her due justice. That night, the crown didn't just sparkle with diamonds. It shone with longing, with remembrance, and with the silent understanding shared by all for the woman who once wore it. Not long after Queen Camilla entered. As always, she appeared polished and flawless. Her own crown sat neatly atop her head. She smiled calmly, but to those nearby, that smile seemed slightly more fragile than usual. Her steps faltered just a bit, a fleeting hesitation. Then her eyes met Catherine's. She saw that crown, Diana's crown. The shift in the atmosphere became unmistakable. Something real had just happened. At that moment, no one was thinking about fashion. No one was talking about dresses. It was a moment heavy with history. Camilla, who had claimed her position not through admiration, but through time and acceptance, now faced a different reality. The public had made its choice, not through ballots, but through glances, silence, and applause that was never given. That crown revived an old story, the story of a woman once hurt by an incomplete love, now represented by another more vivid than ever. From that moment on, Camilla was no longer the center of the room. Her presence grew quiet, restrained. No one said it aloud, but everyone felt it. Diana had never truly left. And Kate, in silence, was bringing her back, not with words, but through her very presence. Although the party continued outwardly as usual, wine-flowing light conversations mingling with the classical music, a wave of anxious whispers began to spread through the palace corridors. Behind closed doors, the atmosphere grew tense. Without a word spoken, those well-versed in royal traditions could clearly sense what was unfolding. For in this palace, nothing is ever accidental. Every piece of jewelry chosen, every crown worn, carries a message silent yet sharp as a blade. Some pieces are simply beautiful, but others, like the crown worn by Princess Catherine tonight, bear the weight of memory, history, and symbolic transition. The issue isn't just who wears what. It lies in the meaning the piece conveys, what it represents, what memories it awakens, and most importantly, how it makes someone in the room feel. And on that night, the one who felt it most deeply was Queen Camilla. Catherine's choice to wear Diana's crown was not merely an aesthetic decision or a style statement. It was a declaration, a wake-up call to emotions long asleep, memories thought to be forgotten, and perhaps a sign of something far greater regarding her true place within the royal family. In that moment, everything became breathtakingly real, no longer ceremony, no longer the spotlight, but deeply personal, intimate, and almost overwhelmingly authentic. That crown, with its sparkling diamonds and heavy history, was more than just a precious piece of jewelry. It had become a message, a vivid symbol, and more importantly, it was a message Camilla could never respond to, because the connection between that crown, Diana, the public, and the memories of a generation would never belong to her. To outsiders, it might just be a royal crown, magnificent, luxurious, timeless. But for Camilla, who was once seen as the woman who came between a fairy tale love, that crown carried a much deeper meaning. It was an unrelenting reminder of the role she was once forbidden to enter. A mirror reflecting the love and admiration she never truly received, because that love, that public devotion, would forever belong to someone else. Diana once wore that crown during the most glamorous yet heartbreaking moments of her life. Over time, it became more than just an accessory. It turned into a part of her deeply emotional personal story, carrying the sorrow, dignity, and strength of a woman who was both fragile and resilient. So when Catherine wore it again, especially at a highly publicized event, the wave of emotions it stirred was almost impossible to ignore. The crown did not just sparkle with diamonds. It shone brightly with memory, with history, and with a love that never fades for a woman who has gone but never left the hearts of the public. Diana's legacy seemed only to grow stronger with each passing year, and now it quietly yet powerfully lives on in Catherine. For some within the palace walls, that crown is like an invisible armor. Diana once wore, a shield between her and the world, between her and the things she could never control. It made her noble even in her most shattered moments. And now, as Camilla sees Catherine wearing it, she may feel as if the past itself has stepped into the room uninvited and unstoppable, carrying the strength of memories never forgiven. Camilla's story has always been complicated. Even though she has become queen, her name remains inseparable from the saddest chapter of Diana and Charles's marriage. And that evening, with just a single crown that passed, was gently but inevitably recalled like a cold breeze slipping through the red velvet curtains, causing those involved to shudder. Under the glittering lights of the ballroom, the public smiled politely and engaged in light conversation, but behind closed doors, the atmosphere had completely changed. For many years, Camilla has been the target of public scrutiny. Despite becoming queen, she still faces criticism, and the shadow of Diana's legacy seems to cling to her relentlessly. When Catherine wore that iconic crown that night, it sent a silent yet powerful message: no matter how much time passes, the hearts of the public still belong to Diana. Some emotional wounds, especially those public and deep ones, never fully heal. That crown carries those memories, quietly evoking the past, yet with great power. It is not just a luxurious item, but a symbol capable of reopening pains that many thought were long buried. By royal decree, many of Queen Elizabeth's jewels were passed on to Camilla after she ascended to the throne, but the lover's knot tiara, Diana's favorite, and forever associated with her name, was not among them. According to tradition, once a tiara is bestowed, it remains forever with its recipient. So when Catherine appeared wearing that tiara, it became an undeniable sign Camilla would never wear it. No yesterday, no today, no ever again. And that knowledge was perhaps the most painful truth for her. Not merely a beautiful accessory, that tiara serves as an emotional bridge between Catherine and the public. People don't just see a glamorous duchess. They also feel the spiritual presence of Diana, her grace, her heart, and her love. No matter how many royal jewels Camilla wears, the legacy that Diana created can never be replicated. Because Catherine isn't just carrying glamour. She is wearing a story, the story of a figure forever remembered by the public. That tiara, with its sparkling diamonds, not only reflects light, but also reflects a legacy, a powerful memory that has endured through the many ups and downs of royal history. It represents the silent, yet potent presence of a woman who has passed on but never left the hearts of those who still remember her. If you enjoyed this story and want to learn more, don't forget to like, share the video, and comment your thoughts below. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you won't miss out on more fascinating videos. Now let's continue the story together. There remains an unanswered mystery. How did that legendary tiara ultimately end up in Catherine's hands and not Camilla's, who was originally entitled to choose it first? Could it have been Queen Elizabeth herself who passed it on as a subtle message? This choice transcends material value. It touches the very consciousness of the monarchy and the faith of the public. Perhaps this is the true showdown, not between two queens, but between the past carried through time, represented by Diana and her legacy, and a future that Catherine can embrace and continue with both great potential and profound responsibility. Within the silent walls of the palace, the collection of jewelry was quietly distributed according to royal protocol. When Camilla, as queen, was granted the right to choose first, it was not a personal favor, but a strict procedure based on rank. Everyone assumed she would select the piece with the deepest sentimental value, such as the symbolic lover's knot tiara, instead of a crown. However, that did not happen. Unexpectedly, that very crown was bestowed upon Duchess Catherine. Along the royal corridors, this move sparked quiet yet profound whispers. Royal watchers believed Camilla had the right to choose it, but somehow the tiara ended up with Kate. So what really happened? Sources reveal that there is a close, discreet, yet meaningful relationship between Queen Elizabeth and Catherine. Some believe the Queen made a deliberate personal decision to pass Diana and Anne's favorite tiara to Kate as a tribute to the late daughter-in-law. Others suggest that this piece had already been promised to Catherine beforehand, before Camilla had the chance to make her choice. Regardless of the facts, the outcome is undeniable. The most iconic and emotionally significant piece in the royal collection is no longer up for auction, but belongs to Catherine. And the public's reaction was immediate and intense. The moment images of Catherine wearing the tiara were made, public social media erupted with admiration. Many compared her to Diana, calling her the reflection of the late princess. Others described it as destiny. The message echoed through the crowd, "The tiara has chosen her." That moment said it all, and for Camilla, nothing could be more unsettling. After years of striving for public acceptance and affection, seeing another woman wear the piece so closely associated with Diana must have deeply wounded her. Royal experts believe that Catherine is not merely wearing the tiara, she is carrying a promise. In that radiant image, the public saw a future queen emerging. Camilla, despite holding the highest position beside the king, has gradually become overshadowed in the background. This shift is not just about jealousy, but reflects a deeper transfer of power. Camilla holds the official title, but Catherine is the one who truly holds the hearts of the public. In the royal world, love and admiration from the people carry more weight than any title. The crown on Catherine's head is not merely an accessory, it is a symbol of the transfer of power and status, causing Camilla to slowly lose her place in the public's regard. However, Camilla did not surrender without a response. At the next royal event, she appeared with confidence, wearing another precious crown that had once been Queen Elizabeth's favorite, a statement that she too could represent the stability and tradition of the monarchy. She smiled gracefully for the cameras, displaying her pride and power. But no matter how much she sparkled, the spotlight still didn't belong to Camilla. The attention, applause, and admiring gazes continued to focus on Catherine, the one who had quietly claimed the place Diana once held. The silent rivalry between the two women wasn't about the jewelry itself, but the deep meaning behind it. Although Camilla owned one of the most historic royal crowns, her appearance failed to make a significant impact. The media was almost silent, and social media buzzed little about the gems or the story behind them. All eyes remained fixed on Catherine, who wore Diana's iconic crown. What stayed in everyone's mind wasn't the material value, but the emotions and legacy it carried. What made things even harder for Camilla was Catherine's natural ease and grace. While Camilla struggled to establish her position and prove herself, Catherine had long lived within that story, and just a glance or a small gesture from her was enough to create a powerful connection with the public. When Catherine wore that crown, the world responded with warmth and deep emotion. In contrast, no matter how dazzling Camilla's crown was, hardly anyone noticed. The moment Camilla had hoped would mark her grand comeback only highlighted the stark difference between them. One was admired, the other beloved, an undeniable contrast in the hearts of the public between Camilla and Catherine. That's right. Within the royal family, wearing a crown isn't just a moment to shine or showcase status. It carries a deep tradition and emotional power that not everyone can truly understand. These crowns aren't simply sparkling accessories. They are symbols of authority, legacy, and one's place in royal history. When the monarch personally bestows a crown on a royal woman, it's an incredibly symbolic decision, marking an official and permanent recognition of her status within the monarchy. And once that crown is given, it stays with the recipient for life, meaning the door is forever closed to others like Camilla, even if she holds the title of queen consort. The strict rules about who gets to wear the crown, when and under what circumstances further emphasize the formality and sacredness of royal jewels. Catherine wearing Diana's crown is not just a fashion statement, but an official entry into the royal history, a continuation that is publicly acknowledged and admired. In contrast for Camilla, this crown represents a closed door, a symbol she cannot possess, even though she stands at the highest position in the family. The most painful thing is not the material value of the crown or the sparkle of its diamonds, but the emotional and historical connection it carries, a connection Camilla cannot have with Diana's legacy. That's why when Catherine steps out wearing Diana's crown, it is not just a personal moment for her, but a resurrection of the spirit and heritage of the late princess, making the public continuously admire and love her. No matter how high Camilla rises, no matter how many titles she holds, she can never escape the overwhelming shadow of Diana, a woman who not only left behind memories, but also became a symbol, a legacy that lives on in the hearts of both the people and the royal family. And it is this very aspect that creates a deeply emotional royal story where symbols tell not only of power, but also of love, respect, and memories that can never fade. Every time Catherine wears that iconic crown, it becomes more than just a sparkling piece of jewelry. People don't just see the diamonds, they feel something deeper. They are reminded of Diana's gentle heart, her kindness, and the struggles she endured. When they look at Catherine, they see the echoes of those quiet strengths, almost as if they are seeing Diana again, but this time in the calmness and confident maturity that Catherine embodies. This is what makes Camilla's journey more challenging than ever. Despite securing her place beside King Charles and taking on all royal duties, she cannot erase the emotional distance the public feels between her and Catherine. That distance becomes even more apparent when Catherine wears Diana's crown, not Camilla. The crown doesn't just shine with diamonds, it stirs powerful emotions, emotions that are not tied to Camilla, but to Diana, and now it seems to Catherine. It's not just a story about who will wear the crown, but also about who the people want to see wear it. That deep emotional connection cannot be created simply through effort or titles. Catherine doesn't try to win the public's heart. She naturally holds it with her calm strength, her charity work, and her grace, even under pressure. She has quietly built a lasting and genuine bond with the people. And when Catherine appears with Diana's crown, the late princess's beloved piece of jewelry, it further affirms that she carries Diana's spirit within her, passing it on to a new generation. Camilla may hold the title of queen, possess official power, and own royal estates, but the deep affection of the public will always be directed towards Catherine. This is not something any royal title can buy. The crown is not just a part of tradition. It is a vivid reflection of how the world views these two women. Camilla may hold status and ceremony, but Catherine has the genuine admiration of the people, and in a monarchy where symbols and meanings matter more than ever, the quiet love from the public may be the strongest power of all. Now, as the emotional divide between Catherine and Camilla becomes increasingly apparent, a natural question arises. How did Catherine come to possess the iconic lover's knot tiara, which once belonged to Diana, when Camilla, by royal rank, had the first choice? What transpired behind the palace walls remains a mystery filled with private decisions and unexpected twists, leading to this historic moment, a story never before revealed about the royal jewelry collection that many have never seen. The lover's knot tiara is a powerful symbol of love, heartbreak, and an enduring history. First created in 1914 for Queen Mary, it was later passed down to Queen Elizabeth II. Many years later, Queen Elizabeth chose to gift it to Princess Diana as a wedding present. But that tiara was not just a simple gift. It became a part of Diana herself. Diana wore the tiara at formal events, international trips, and even during some of her most painful public appearances. Despite its grandeur and brilliance, the crown was heavy and not easy to wear, much like the complex and challenging life Diana faced within the royal family. Yet she never showed the difficulty it caused. Diana wore it with such grace that over time the tiara became more than just a piece of jewelry. It turned into a symbol of her quiet strength. According to those close to her, every time Diana wore the tiara, it was as though she was telling the world, "I am still here." Even as her marriage fell apart, she maintained her composure and dignity in front of the public. And the tiara remained there, silently accompanying her through that emotionally charged journey. After Diana's tragic passing in 1997, the tiara almost disappeared from the public eye. It was carefully stored away as if it were buried alongside the immense grief of the royal family's loss. No one touched it for many years, as it held deep memories and emotions. Then, in 2015, something unexpected happened. The tiara made a return, but not for Camilla, rather for Catherine, the Duchess of Cambridge. The moment Catherine wore the tiara caused a quiet shock among royal observers, as if Diana had returned not in form but through her spirit. Catherine wearing the tiara was not just a fashion statement. It awakened memories of Diana within the entire royal splendor. This emotional revival is exactly why this tiara holds such significance for Camilla. The public still holds a special admiration for Diana, and now they feel a similar warmth towards Catherine. Although Camilla has the right to choose from the valuable heirlooms of Queen Mary and Queen Elizabeth, this particular tiara holds an irreplaceable place, one that will forever belong to the hearts of the people reserved for Diana. Even when others wear different pieces, this tiara will always remain an immortal symbol, a reminder of the legacy and spirit of Princess Diana. And now the real question arises. How did the lover's knot tiara end up in Catherine's hands when Camilla was supposed to be the first in line? To understand this, we must go back and carefully examine how Queen Elizabeth II's precious jewelry collection was quietly divided, a decision that may have completely changed the way we view the women in the royal family. When Queen Elizabeth II passed away, her vast royal jewelry collection filled with crowns, brooches, tiaras, and priceless heirlooms needed to be carefully and methodically divided. But this was not a casual task, nor one based on personal preferences. According to royal experts, the entire process followed a strict set of rules based on hierarchy and roles within the royal family. As Queen Camilla had the priority to choose first, and had full access to the most valuable and precious items in the collection. However, what surprised many was that Camilla did not claim the lover's knot tiara, the piece of jewelry forever linked to Diana's memory and image. Instead, it was passed on to Duchess Catherine. This decision left many within the palace stunned and questioning. Some wondered whether Camilla voluntarily stepped aside or if this was a decision that Queen Elizabeth had made long before her passing. Those close to the royal family believe that it was the late queen herself who chose Catherine to be the heir to this special tiara. She had a deep emotional connection with Catherine and wanted this precious piece, which was also a symbol of Diana's love and legacy, to be passed on to someone deserving of carrying that spirit forward. This decision was not just about status, but also about emotion and personal connection. There have been reports suggesting that King Charles quietly supported this decision as well. He likely wished that the memory of his late wife would be preserved and honored through the woman who is now the wife of his son. Not only was Catherine given the lover's knot tiara, but she also inherited many other precious pieces from Queen Elizabeth's collection, ranging from elegant brooches and timeless necklaces to accessories connected to Princess Margaret. Meanwhile, Camilla inherited other significant royal pieces, such as the Burmese ruby tiara and some signature jewelry of Queen Mary. The clear difference lies in the emotional value and public significance each piece carries. The jewelry connected to the most profound emotional histories, symbols of tradition and sentiment, seems to belong to Catherine. It's not just about their rarity or sparkle, but the deep connection the tiara evokes, a connection that only true symbols can create. As one journalist once said, the most important thing is the story behind the gem, and in the royal world, meaning is far more valuable than diamonds. The division of this special treasure not only shifted attention away from Camilla, but also quietly reignited an old feeling of disappointment within her. Camilla had waited many years to become queen, enduring relentless public criticism, and finally secured her position. Yet when the brightest moment arrived, it was Catherine who stepped into the spotlight, with each jewel seemingly shining through her. Camilla may have worn the crown, but Catherine inherited the fairy tale and the public's heart. In a family built on history and imagery, sometimes emotion outweighs ceremony. And the moment Catherine appeared before the public wearing that iconic tiara not only continued Diana's story, but also sent a subtle yet powerful message, a message quietly impossible to ignore. According to royal observers, this sparked a strong reaction within Camilla, stirring the atmosphere in the palace. The tiara, once just a beautiful heirloom, had now become something sharper, a symbol and a challenge. When Catherine wore the tiara, newspapers were immediately flooded with images and headlines, social media exploded, and television programs constantly discussed it. But beneath the sparkle and grace was something much larger. To the public, it was a proud tribute to the tradition and elegance of the royal family. But for Camilla, according to some insiders, it was a deeply personal message, a subtle reminder sent directly to her. What adds to the pain is the way Catherine wears the tiara so naturally, with a strong presence, calm demeanor, and confident posture. Every gesture she makes reminds the public of Princess Diana not as a copy, but as a continuation of her legacy. And that is something Camilla has never truly been able to do. She may wear other jewelry, she may appear at major events, but this particular tiara, the one that holds Diana's spirit, belongs only to Catherine, who carries that quiet pride. This kind of deep connection cannot be borrowed or exchanged. No matter how much jewelry Camilla owns, that emotional tiara may forever remain out of her reach. Its influence spread instantly. Social media was flooded with comparisons between Princess Diana and Catherine. Many began to call Kate the people's princess of the modern era, even dubbing her Queen 2.0. Within hours, the tiara had become a much more powerful symbol than just a piece of jewelry. It became a symbol of the woman the public believes will be the future of the monarchy. That same evening, Camilla appeared wearing a different tiara, but her presence seemed to quietly fade into the shadows while all eyes remained fixed on Catherine. For many, this contrast wasn't a mere coincidence. According to palace insiders, it seemed like a silent confrontation, and it was clear who had captured the world's attention. That's why the moment carried such weight. It wasn't just about a beautiful royal treasure, but about the deep emotions attached to it. In the royal world, how the public perceives you often matters more than any title. By choosing to pass the special tiara to Catherine, it wasn't just a step into a memory. It was a step into the hearts of millions. For Camilla, that gesture stirred old pains, reminding her of something she had long tried to forget. Not all crowns are worn on your head. Some crowns are deeply felt in the hearts of the people, and those are the true crowns that matter. Now, with emotions stirred and the public seemingly choosing sides, the next big question arises. Could this moment have erased or created a lasting rift that even Camilla, with all her royal power, cannot repair? To better understand this, we need to look back at the time before the tiara became the focal point on the headlines, when the tensions between Camilla and Catherine began to quietly form. Their complicated and tumultuous relationship was woven over many years, even when the competition between royal members had never been openly acknowledged. Things became more complicated when Prince William officially introduced Kate Middleton to the inner circle of the palace. From the beginning, Camilla was said to have concerns not about Kate's personality or behavior, but about her background. Kate was not born into royalty or the aristocracy, and she did not come from a prestigious family. In Camilla's eyes, this meant that Kate wasn't fully suited for the world she was about to enter. It's important to remember that Camilla also had a difficult journey to join royal life. She had to fight relentlessly for her place, face harsh public judgment, and spend years proving herself to the royal family. So when Kate appeared and was immediately admired by the public, it's possible that Camilla felt a sense of unfairness. Kate didn't have to work hard to earn that love. It seemed to be given to her almost overnight. As the drama unfolds, the question remains, what impact will this have on the royal family? With tensions rising, it's clear that things are far from settled. Will this be the beginning of a shift in royal power, or will it remain just another royal controversy? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. This is a moment that will be remembered in royal history. Stay tuned for more updates on this thrilling saga. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more inside stories and royal revelations. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Welcome to the channel. Today we will explore a shocking secret of the British royal family, a truth that has been hidden for 30 years, and only now at the age of 43 Prince William has discovered. According to a close source, after learning what King Charles had kept secret for decades, William was completely calm. This is not only a personal shock, but also a step that can change the foundation of the monarchy. In the end, what makes a son a successor to the throne face such a dangerous choice? Let's delve into this painful and secret story. Do you think the British royal family could keep a secret for 30 years? If you believe it, comment 1. If you think it's impossible, leave 0. Don't forget to enjoy the video and leave a sub to support the channel. I will update more shocking royal secrets. One quiet afternoon, Prince William accidentally discovered an old letter while going through the royal archives. It was a letter from Rosalia to King Charles, written shortly after Princess Diana's death. The content of the letter was an instruction to keep her last wishes secret. William was stunned to learn of the existence of his mother's diaries and tapes, something he had not known about for more than 30 years. The biggest shock was the truth did not come from the media or enemies, but from his own father. Why did Charles bury Diana's last words? And what made him so afraid that he had to cover up the truth? In the final months of her life, Diana recorded her emotions in diaries and cassette tapes, private messages to William and Harry. They contained pain apologies and warnings. Her voice, weak but sincere, echoed from the past, shaking William. He had thought he knew everything about his mother's death, but now he knew a part of the truth that had been hidden for too long. That moment left him with a difficult choice: continue to keep silent to protect the royal family, or bravely speak up to give Diana a final say. William faced his father in a closed-door meeting. The atmosphere was heavy as a storm cloud. He came not as an heir, but as a wounded son. "Why don't you trust me enough to tell you this?" he asked. There was no anger, no drama, just raw pain. Charles was reportedly taken aback by his son's candor, and he fell silent, seemingly moved on the verge of tears. Then he gave an answer that hurt William even more. "I just wanted to protect you from your mother's pain." But the answer, meant to be comforting, only made things worse. For William, this wasn't protection. It was control, a mistake that deprived him of his last chance to hear his mother's final words. The tense conversation quickly escalated into a confrontation. Voices rose, emotions spilled. William reportedly pressed, "Who else was involved in that decision?" "Just you." Charles said vaguely, "It's complicated." The room shook according to those close to him, not from the noise, but from all the things that had gone unsaid for decades. One royal aide called the moment a breaking point that had been brewing for years. Because this wasn't just about tapes or secret letters, it was about pain that had never been shared. William left the meeting, eyes red and fists clenched, not saying a word to anyone, not even Kate. That night, he took the diary and the tapes to his private study, where he stayed until dawn. The confrontation had broken something not just between him and Charles, but within William himself. The man who had stood firm as a model prince now realized that the institution he had always defended had tried to protect him from the very thing he needed most, his mother's voice. And the consequences were more than just emotional, they were transformative. For years, William believed he had done everything right. He had done his duty. He had protected the regime, he had preserved his mother's memory. But after the truth came to light, the tapes, the diaries, the betrayal, something inside him broke. Close friends say William became quiet, his public smile fading behind palace walls. He became absorbed in his own thoughts, telling Kate, "I feel like I've lost my mother all over again." The pain became vivid, as if the funeral had just happened. But this time it was accompanied by anger. William begins to ask, what is Charles really hiding, and why is he so afraid of it? As he digs deeper into the closed files, the picture of the past becomes clearer and more painful than he could have imagined. What he finds is not just information, but the naked truth. Diana speaks with painful honesty about life in the palace, about betrayal, loneliness, and the breakdown of her marriage to Charles. She holds nothing back, not even the moment she realizes Charles has never really left Camilla. She fears for her son's emotional future in a system that has never protected her. For Charles, reading those words would have been disturbing enough, but hearing them in Diana's own voice, preserved forever, would have been a ticking time bomb. So according to insiders, he made the decision not as a mourning ex-husband, but as a future king. He ordered that the tapes, the diary, and the part of Diana's will that related to them be kept secret. The reason given was that their release would further damage the royal family's image. At the time, Charles was under fire while Diana was almost revered as a saint. But in his effort to save the royal family from collapse, Charles has sacrificed something priceless: his son's truth, his healing, and his right to hear his mother's final words. Some believe that Charles feared the tapes would further alienate William and Harry, that Diana's honest words would turn them away from everything he stood for. Ironically, by keeping those words hidden for 30 years, he may have made that happen. Now William is faced with a choice: keep silent, as tradition dictates, or let the world hear his mother's words. For William, the question is no longer what happened, but what now? When he opens Diana's diary, it is not just a piece of paper. It is a box of memories. Her mother's handwriting seems to reach out from the other side of the world. Diana writes not just about public life, but also about her fear of being isolated, misunderstood, and ultimately rejected. She writes about William and Harry, about their boundless love, and the fear that the royal system will swallow them up. William once comforted his mother as a child, saying, "Don't cry, Mummy, I will be your knight." Reading those words decades later broke William. A palace aide said he spent hours in his room with the diary, then simply told Kate, "It was like hearing my mother's voice after all these years." The diary not only brought back memories, it brought clarity. Diana had always wanted her children to know the truth, not the one written in history books or press releases, but her own truth. And now that William had it, what would happen next? The palace began to panic because they knew this was no longer a family secret. As soon as news broke that William had found the tapes and diaries, the corridors of Buckingham fell silent. Then panic. Emergency meetings were called, the press team alerted. The orders were clear: control the flow of information, call it private, confirm nothing, deny nothing. But behind the scenes there was fear. They feared that what Diana had said would leak, that her emotional tone would overshadow years of work to rebuild the royal image. Some even suggested moving the entire archive elsewhere, but William refused. For him, this was not a relic. It was his mother's last words, and he would not let anyone erase her again. As the palace scrambled to figure out how to respond, something else began to emerge. Something they had not prepared for. Someone else had suspected it all along: Harry. As William began to piece together the truth, he could not help but wonder, did Harry know? For years, Harry had hinted at things that had never been told, had said that the royal family was more interested in control than healing. Now, William began to think perhaps his brother had always felt this way. William, overwhelmed with emotion, contacted Harry for the first time in months, the source said. The call was brief, but ended with the words, "I have something my mother left me. I need to share it with you." The possibility that Diana could reconnect her two sons after years of separation is both sad and hopeful. While the royal family fears the truth being revealed, the two sons may have the very thing that could bring them back together: Diana's voice. But not everyone in the royal family is ready for that truth to be revealed, especially one Camilla. One of the most shocking parts of the tapes is Diana's candid thoughts about Camilla. According to sources, Diana spoke brutally and honestly. She described how Charles's affair haunted her marriage. She felt betrayed. not just as a wife, but as a mother trying to protect her children from scandal. If you were Prince William and found out your father had been hiding a secret for 30 years, would you speak up or keep quiet? Comment number 2. If you would speak up, number 5, if you chose to stay silent to protect your family. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next shocking stories from the British royal family. There were 3 of us in the marriage, so it was a bit crowded, she once said. An iconic quote from the Panorama interview that many believe says it all. But the tapes go further. Diana was reportedly concerned that Camilla would end up reshaping the royal family in her own image. She worried that her memory would be erased to make way for the woman the public had rejected, and perhaps Diana was right. For since Charles's coronation and Camilla's ascension to the throne, Diana's name has been steadily disappearing from speeches, official portraits, and royal ceremonies. For William, this is deeply personal. Not only has his mother's final message been kept secret, but the woman who caused her the most pain may have benefited from her silence. Camilla's role in the royal family has long been a matter of debate, but now with Diana's words emerging from the shadows, things could change forever. And through it all, there was one person who stood by William. That person was Kate. When the storm of emotions engulfed William, Kate Middleton was there not just as a wife, but as a shield. She was his silent anchor, keeping him grounded as royal politics pulled him in every direction. And when William faced the deepest betrayal of his life, Kate was the first person he turned to. Sources say Kate sat with him for hours as he read Diana's diaries and listened to the tapes. She didn't say much. She didn't need to. Her presence was enough. She held his hand, made him tea, and quietly reminded him that he wasn't alone. But behind that calmness was a quiet anger. Kate was said to have believed the tapes should have been given to William years ago. She encouraged him to face the truth, not to shock, but to heal. But that support came at a cost. The tension between Kate and Camilla, once low-key, is now palpable. One source recalls a public appearance where Camilla said something and Kate just smiled and looked away. It was so cold, the insider said. You could feel the division. Now, with Diana's voice alive and the family divided on both sides of history, Kate and William face a choice. Keep quiet to protect tradition, or speak up and risk it all. The palace may have tried to keep the secret under wraps, but as the rumors of the letters and tapes spread, the public began to boil over. It started with a small leak. A source close to the press told the press that William had discovered hidden parts of Diana's will. Then came details of the diaries, the recordings, the emotional confrontation with Charles. And finally, the spark. Diana's voice was back. Social media exploded with the phrase, "Let Diana speak." People demanded transparency. Diana's fans, from generations old to new, flooded social media with photos, quotes, and memories of a woman they believed had been wronged. But this time, the outrage wasn't just directed at the press or past scandals, it was directed at the palace itself. Articles began to appear asking, was Charles trying to protect the royal family or himself? Was Camilla's rise built on the silence of another woman's truth? And the most painful part, William lived 30 years in the dark while someone knew the truth all that time. Public support for Prince William has surged, with many literally calling him a mama's boy. Royal experts say the royal silence only fuels suspicion. With each day that passes without a word from the palace, the specter of Diana becomes more palpable. And now, with millions calling for the tapes and the entire diary to be released, William finds himself at a crossroads. The institution he was born to lead is the one that prevented him from hearing his mother's final words. But is he willing to risk it all to honor her? Inside the palace, the mood has changed. Not just because of the tapes or the diaries, but because William is no longer grieving in silence. He is thinking planning, and according to royal aides, seriously considering his next move. For months, William has spoken publicly about transparency, accountability, and emotional honesty, especially when it comes to raising his children. But now those words take on a whole new meaning. The future king is not just considering the throne, but himself. Some sources say he is considering releasing parts of the tapes or diaries, not to embarrass his father, but to finally get Diana to speak in her own words. Others say William wants to share them privately with Harry first, as a quiet act of reconciliation before a public storm. Either way, tensions are inevitable. Senior members of the royal family worry that the release could create a generational divide between those clinging to the past and those seeking to reshape the royal future. But for William, perhaps this is no longer about politics. This is about legacy, his mother's legacy. She was silenced. Will he let that happen again? As the public rallies behind him and the royal family prepares for a shakeup, all eyes are on the man who was the boy who walked behind Diana's coffin. He is no longer behind, he is leading. And what happens next could change everything. "30 years after her death, Princess Diana is once again the most powerful voice in the royal family. Her words, once locked in silence, now echo through halls she once distrusted. In the midst of it all, Prince William, the boy she loved most, is now the man who must decide whether her mother's truth will be heard. The royal family has survived scandal, divorce, death, and exile, but this is different. This is not an image crisis or a fleeting media shock. This is an internal confrontation, deep, quiet, and full of conflict. William is no longer the prince who obediently obeys the court, but a son facing a crossroads, continue to keep silent to protect the institution that stifled the voice of his mother, Princess Diana, or have the courage to speak up, accepting to shake the palace with truths that have been buried for decades. Deep down, he knows that what his mother has always wanted is not a settlement but justice, for herself, for her son, and for the future of the royal family. Meanwhile, King Charles became increasingly isolated. He was caught between the pain of the past and the emerging truth. The silent walls of the palace were no longer thick enough to keep the truth from leaking out. William knew this was perhaps the hardest decision of his life, not just because it affected the throne, but because it touched the very roots of honor, family, and legacy. And so he chose to speak up, not to avenge, but to clear, not to break, but to heal. And so, after more than 30 years, the truth has finally been revealed, leaving Prince William with a deep pain and a difficult choice to continue to stay silent or to bravely speak up like his mother did. Whatever the decision, this is certainly a major turning point for the entire royal family. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to update the next developments. It's time. After many years of silence, Princess Diana's sister, Lady Sarah McCorquodale, at 60 years old, has finally decided to speak up and reveal all the secrets that many have been wondering about for so long. The rumors about Diana's private life, her relationship with Charles, and the controversial events within the royal family, all of these are now being clarified by Sarah in this video. The untold details and insights from a unique perspective will surely surprise you. If you're curious about these secrets, leave a 1 in the comments. If not, comment 0 to let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to enjoy the video and hit the subscribe button to support the channel. Beyond her role as a sister, Lady Elizabeth Sarah Lavinia McCorquodale, born on March 19, 1955, has dropped a bombshell after years of silence and avoiding the painful issue surrounding her sister Diana. She has found the courage to answer the questions on many people's minds in a documentary honoring Princess Diana. Sarah opened up about the events leading to Diana's death. She mentioned that her sister was very serious about wearing her seatbelt, so why didn't she do so? That night, Sarah also expressed her frustration when people kept saying that Diana was injured and expected to recover that night in the tragic accident. Have you ever wondered what happened? We understand there is still much to clarify. So sit back and relax as we dive into Lady Sarah's life and why she became the focal point of the rumors surrounding her sister's death. Sarah McCorquodale is the eldest of 4 children born to a member of the British aristocracy. She is 2 years older than Jane Fellows and 6 years older than Diana. Their parents were John Spencer and Frances Shand Kidd. The Spencer siblings grew up around the royal family as 4 of their grandmothers served as ladies-in-waiting to Queen Elizabeth. Sarah and her siblings lived at Park House, a rented home on the Queen's estate at Sandringham. Sarah and Diana shared a good relationship, with many believing that Diana viewed Sarah as a hero. However, their relationship with their parents was unstable. Their parents couldn't resolve their issues, leading to separation and divorce in 1969. Sarah's mother, Frances, longed for freedom and quickly remarried Peter Shand Kidd. When Sarah's father was given the title of Earl, Sarah was granted the title of Lady, and her family moved to live at Althorp. Later, Sarah's father married Rain, the Countess of Dark, a decision that was not accepted by the Spencer children, causing tension between them and their stepmother for many years. Sarah filled the gap in Diana's life, helping her adjust to having a new stepmother. Although Diana admitted she didn't like her stepmother and had an unstable childhood, Sarah did her best to support her. But did Sarah, who always wanted the best for her sister, truly lead Diana down a dark path? The story of Princess Diana and the royal family's secrets has always attracted attention, and now, with the revelations from her sister, Lady Sarah, everything will be clarified. Do you have any questions about Diana's life or the royal family? Leave your questions or thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss other fascinating stories. Before Diana became one of the most famous figures in history, she was an ordinary girl. Diana was homeschooled under the supervision of her governess, Gertrude Allen. She only began formal schooling when her father believed she could take care of herself. Diana attended Sillfield Private School in Norfolk, and later went to Riddlesworth Hall, an all-girls boarding school. At the age of 9, Diana was allowed to join her sisters at West Heath School in Sevenoaks, where she learned to build charisma and became one of the outstanding students due to her community spirit. After completing her education at 16, Diana wanted to try everything. She loved music and became a talented pianist. Diana also enjoyed swimming, but what she loved most was learning ballet and tap dance. She once said that if she weren't a princess, she would have loved to become a dancer. Diana wasn't afraid to explore the world. She moved to London and lived in an apartment with other girls, learning how to live and taking life as it came. There were rumors that Diana worked as a nanny, taught dance to young people, was a nursery assistant, and even worked as a party hostess. She found her place in London and became best known for working as a teaching assistant at the Young England School in Pimlico. A while later, Diana lived with Sarah. It was during this time that Prince Charles entered Diana's life. Sarah was the one who introduced Diana to the prince during a visit to the Spencer family home at Althorp in 1977, when Diana was 16 and Charles was 29. The prince was there for a hunting trip, and Diana recalls that they met in the middle of a plowed field. According to an article in the Daily Times, when Charles looked at Diana, he thought she would make a suitable wife and future queen, while Diana was captivated by the young prince. Before meeting Diana, Charles had had several romantic relationships, and this wasn't the first time the prince had set his sights on a girl from the Spencer family. In 1981, they began dating in 1980, and it took them 13 meetings before they publicly announced their engagement and marriage. Diana initially denied rumors about their engagement until they were ready to make it official. Everyone was happy for the new couple, and Queen Elizabeth II also took a liking to Diana. Sarah also approved of her sister's relationship with the man who would become king. After their engagement, Diana gave up her job as a nursery teacher's assistant and temporarily lived at the Queen's mother's residence, Clarence House. She later moved to Buckingham Palace, and their wedding in July 1981 was held at St. Paul's Cathedral. It became one of the most watched events in history, with over 750 million people tuning in to watch the fairy tale wedding on television, and thousands of people lined the streets hoping to catch a glimpse of the couple. After their marriage, Diana became the Princess of Wales, and the public immediately embraced her as she carried out her royal duties. She represented the Queen on many occasions, one of which was at a Commonwealth event. People thought of Diana as a shy princess, but she had a unique charm and allure. She had a kind heart and dedicated much of her energy to charity work, including campaigns against the stigma surrounding AIDS patients, which drew attention from many. The Princess of Wales was seen alongside AIDS patients, treating them with kindness to change the public's perception of the disease. She also advocated for the removal of landmines and joined the International Red Cross. Charity was not just a duty for Diana, it was her purpose in life. Her smile, kindness, and demeanor won the hearts of many. Diana was not just the Princess of Wales, she was the princess of people's hearts. She was not a beautiful woman who sat back waiting to be served, but a woman who loved to take the initiative and get things done. You might wonder where was her sister when Diana joined the royal family. By the time Charles and Diana got engaged, Sarah was married to Neil McCorquodale, with whom she had 3 children, George, Emily, and Celia. Sarah and the princess remained close after Diana married Charles. She was also involved in royal duties and sometimes accompanied Diana on official trips as a lady-in-waiting. One such trip was a royal visit to Nepal in 1993. Although she didn't appear much in the media, Sarah was always present in her sister's life. There were rumors that the affair between Charles and Camilla had started before and continued throughout their marriage. It seemed that everyone knew about this relationship, which made Diana start to realize her husband's romantic history. The princess began to look at things from a different perspective, and this was one of the hardest challenges she had to face. Charles's response, when asked about love in a previous interview, shocked Diana and everyone else. When asked if they were in love, Diana quickly and happily said yes, while Charles coldly replied, "Whatever love means." At the time, it seemed strange, but only later did Diana understand that she was not the only woman in Charles's life. Initially, Queen Elizabeth II had a positive impression of Diana due to her noble background. She believed Diana would easily adapt to royal life. However, over time, the differences between Diana and the Queen became more apparent. Diana was very open about her emotions, especially when she was feeling sad, while the Queen always kept her emotions under wraps, maintaining a calm and composed demeanor. This created a significant issue between them. Diana often cried when things became too overwhelming, while the Queen was confused by these emotional outbursts. Diana sought guidance and comfort, but their contrasting personalities made it difficult for them to truly connect. When Diana suddenly passed away, the Queen's calm response was seen by many as distant and indifferent. People expected a stronger emotional reaction from her, but in her speech at Diana's funeral, the Queen revealed her true feelings, praising Diana as an extraordinary and talented woman. In 1977, Diana first met Prince Charles when she was just 16 years old and he was 29. The prince was drawn to Diana's lively and charming personality. By 1980, Charles felt the need to marry a young aristocratic and virginal woman, and Diana seemed to perfectly fit these criteria. Their relationship became more serious when they reconnected at a friend's house. However, even before they married, Charles maintained contact with his ex-girlfriend, Camilla Parker. Diana felt uncomfortable with this relationship, as Charles continued to communicate with Camilla despite being engaged to her. Nevertheless, Charles felt jealous of the attention Diana received from the public. Crowds would always gather to meet Diana, while if they encountered Charles, they sometimes felt disappointed. Their relationship faced many issues right from the start. Diana and Charles both betrayed each other, and although they tried to repair their relationship, these efforts ultimately failed. In December 1992, they decided to separate, officially ending their marriage. After Diana's death, Charles helped the family bring her body back from Paris to England. This act demonstrated his respect and feelings for his ex-wife, even though their relationship had been fractured for years. Prince Philip Charles's father was one of the few members of the royal family to marry someone outside the family rather than being born into it. Because of this, he could understand the challenges Diana faced when confronting the rules and difficulties of royal life. When Diana's marriage encountered trouble, Philip tried to support her. In letters from 1992, he offered help, provided advice, and supported Diana in dealing with her marital issues. However, despite Philip acknowledging that he wasn't the right person to offer advice on relationships, Diana appreciated his efforts. She responded to his letters with gratitude and deep affection. Nonetheless, their relationship wasn't without its turbulence. Later, it was revealed that Philip had written 2 letters criticizing Diana, which left her feeling uncomfortable. A royal expert also mentioned that Diana began to see Philip as too strict, especially because he always prioritized the royal family's reputation over her happiness. When Diana and Charles got engaged, Charles revealed his previous relationship with Camilla Parker. Initially, Diana and Camilla had a fairly normal relationship. Camilla was simply considered one of Charles's friends, and she even attended one of the first public events of Diana and Charles in 1980. However, after the engagement, Diana began to have doubts about Charles's relationship with Camilla, especially when she discovered a bracelet that Charles had made for Camilla, engraved with the nicknames Fred and Gladys. Diana's anxiety grew even more when she discovered clear signs of infidelity. On one occasion, Diana confronted Camilla at a party, questioning her about the relationship with Charles. Although Diana expressed her feelings openly, the relationship between Charles and Camilla continued causing Diana immense pain. Despite experiencing much sorrow in her marriage, Diana found joy and encouragement from her strong friendship with Sarah Ferguson, a friend from childhood. Diana and Sarah were distant relatives, but their friendship grew stronger over the years during their teenage years. Diana helped Sarah become a part of the royal family by arranging for Sarah to sit next to Prince Andrew at a lunch in 1985. Diana unintentionally became the catalyst for the romantic relationship between Sarah and Andrew, and a year later they got married. After Sarah joined the royal family, her bond with Diana grew even stronger as they navigated the challenges of royal life together. A 1987 skiing trip between Diana and Sarah became a memorable moment as they playfully frolicked in the snow, causing photographers to smile, although it didn't please their husbands. However, the friendship between Diana and Sarah faced some significant obstacles. The media constantly fueled rivalry between them, making the public believe they were competitors. Diana, with her beauty and elegance, always won the public's affection, while Sarah received more favor from the royal family. Despite this, their relationship was not able to withstand the pressures, and it eventually couldn't be sustained for long. Sarah began to suspect that Diana had revealed details about her private vacation after the divorce. The situation became more tense when Diana stopped communicating with Sarah, especially after she mentioned an issue with her foot caused by Sarah's shoes in her autobiography. When Diana passed away, they had not spoken to each other for a year, leaving their relationship to end in regret. Diana's two sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, were always the center of her life. She had a special bond with her children and was deeply committed to raising them with love, care, and encouragement of independence. She wanted them to understand not only that they were royal, but also that they could blend into ordinary life outside the palace. In a documentary released in 2017, 20 years after Diana's passing, Prince William shared that he thought about his mother almost every day. He recalled her lively personality and how she always made sure her sons understood that life was not just confined within the walls of the palace. Diana took her children on public buses, participated in activities at amusement parks, and even visited McDonald's. She wanted her sons to experience the lives of ordinary people and find joy in those simple moments. Diana wanted to ensure that her sons knew they would always be loved no matter what happened. She taught William to live freely and not worry about the future. Her lessons helped her sons feel more connected to the world outside the royal family. Harry, in an interview, shared his special relationship with his mother. He remembered the warm hugs from Diana, the way she would lift him up and hold him tightly in her arms. Each hug from his mother still lives in his memory, carrying her love even though she has passed away. Harry also recalled that Diana always encouraged him to live joyfully, but to be cautious and avoid getting into trouble. He remembered her words and the comforting feeling from those hugs, the loving moments that he still felt, even as time passed. Have you ever heard the encouraging words of Princess Diana to Harry? Her advice helped him through many challenges in life. If you feel moved by her motherly wisdom, leave a 1 in the comments. If not, leave a 0. Don't forget to share this video so more people can feel Diana's love and wisdom. Diana's sudden death in 1997 left a deep pain for her two sons, with William being just 15 and Harry 12 years old. This loss was an immense sorrow as they lost their mother at such a young age. Harry expressed that he still longs for his mother's presence every day, and despite the passage of time, he continues to remember Diana, the wonderful mother he will always love. Princess Anne and Diana were very different women. Anne, with her simple style and love for a quiet life, always found peace in outdoor walks. She kept the same hairstyle for over 50 years, and valued her privacy. Anne led a life that was low-key in stark contrast to Diana's spotlight and glamour in royal life. These differences created fascinating contrasts in their personalities and lives. In contrast to Princess Anne, Diana loved the hustle and bustle of the city, often wearing glamorous dresses and engaging with the public. She became a fashion icon and one of the most photographed women in the world. Despite the stark differences in their lifestyles, there were still some similarities between them, especially in their charity work. Both were deeply committed to their charitable endeavors and dedicated themselves fully to these causes. Princess Anne dedicated herself wholeheartedly to charity work and was even nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize in 1990 for her contributions to the organization Save the Children. Like Diana, Anne also wanted her children, Zara and Peter, to have a normal life, which is why she declined royal titles for them. However, despite sharing similar values, the relationship between Diana and Anne did not improve. According to some royal sources, Anne once viewed Diana as overly sensitive and childish. Their conversations often took place in awkward and uncomfortable atmospheres. Sensing this distance, Anne began to avoid her brother's wife. The situation worsened when Diana decided not to attend the christening of Anne's daughter, citing her busy schedule. This decision only widened the gap between the two, and their relationship never improved. Diana also had a complex relationship with Princess Margaret, Queen Elizabeth's sister. Initially, Margaret had a great fondness for Diana, as she too was a prominent woman in the public eye. Margaret empathized with the challenges Diana faced and offered support and advice during difficult times in her marriage to Prince Charles. However, Margaret's support for Diana ended after Diana's interview with BBC's Panorama program in 1995. Although Diana did not directly criticize anyone, her words were interpreted as a criticism of the royal family. Margaret, who was always loyal to the monarchy, felt personally offended. After the interview, she severed all contact with Diana and never spoke to her again. Margaret even went as far as to destroy all the letters Diana had sent her and did not bow her head when Diana's coffin passed by during the funeral. The Queen Mother had a complicated relationship with Diana. Before Diana married Prince Charles, the Queen Mother had been close friends with Diana's grandmother, Lady Fermoy, for over 30 years. Some believe that Lady Fermoy played a key role in arranging Diana's marriage to Charles, while the Queen Mother herself thought that Diana would struggle to adapt to the strict royal protocols and other unusual traditions. Initially, the Queen Mother was kind to Diana, understanding that a young woman would find it difficult to integrate into royal life. However, this relationship inevitably became complex and strained. Diana was very close to and fond of Prince Charles, but she felt sad when she realized that Charles valued the opinions of his mother and grandmother more than hers. This feeling of being sidelined made Diana increasingly isolated in her marriage, as if her voice held no significance. It created a large rift between them, leaving Diana feeling abandoned. After Diana's death, there was a strange connection between her and the royal women. As there was no funeral plan specifically for someone as young as Diana, the palace used the Queen Mother's funeral plan. Despite this, Diana had a grand funeral with ceremonies arranged in advance, even though the plan had originally been intended for someone else. The Queen Mother, who lived nearly 5 more years, passed away in 2002 at the age of 101. Diana did not get along with Princess Michael of Kent, whom she considered arrogant and difficult. Princess Michael, with her haughty personality, was often referred to as the bossy princess, a nickname that may have originated from Princess Anne. Diana also called her U-boat commander, a nickname that carried a particular meaning. In 1985, it was revealed that Princess Michael's father had supported the Nazis during World War II as a senior officer in the SS. Although Princess Michael claimed that she was unaware of her father's past, this revelation sparked considerable controversy. Princess Michael faced significant criticism in the years that followed due to her offensive comments. A notable incident involved her being accused of telling a group of black diners to return to their designated area, although she denied the allegation. She was also criticized for naming two black sheep after famous tennis players Venus and Serena Williams. These actions caused Diana to disapprove of her, and she could not accept such attitudes. Diana faced many challenges while living in the palace. Many members of the royal family, such as Princess Anne and Princess Margaret, adhered to tradition and disapproved of Diana's modern approach. Figures like the Queen Mother and Princess Michael had opposing views on Diana, creating internal conflicts that were impossible to reconcile. Despite the challenges, Diana maintained her dignity and confidence. She dedicated herself to raising her children and engaging in charity work. Even in the face of loneliness and dissatisfaction from some royal family members, Diana used her fame to raise awareness about social issues and challenge royal norms. She openly expressed her emotions in public, something that some members of the royal family disagreed with, but it won her widespread admiration from the public. Diana's time in the royal family was not just filled with glamorous events and media attention. She endured many personal struggles and tensions within the palace. Although she gained the affection of the public, not everyone in the royal family was fond of her. Diana learned many valuable lessons during those challenging years, and she maintained her resilience even when facing strained relationships and loneliness within the royal family. There were many questions surrounding the Princess of Wales after her death, as many believed it was a planned attack. Dodi's father alleged that his son and Diana were murdered, as there was nothing natural about their accident. There were also controversies that Diana had been under surveillance by the US before her death. In an investigation to clarify the death of the princess, her sister Sarah was interrogated, and she revealed that Diana had called her from Al Fayed's luxury yacht to express her fear that she was being monitored. She believed the yacht had been bugged by Mr. Al Fayed. Lady Sarah mentioned that some believed MI6 was involved in the accident, while others thought that those chasing the princess and her lover were not ordinary paparazzi. Diana's bodyguard was also included in the investigation, but he claimed to have amnesia after the incident and couldn't remember any helpful details. They also discussed the driver Henri Paul, with controversies suggesting that he was under the influence of alcohol and illicit substances. The investigation later concluded that no foul play led to the accident in August 1997, but Henri Paul's recklessness resulted in the deaths of Princess Diana and Dodi Fayed. The case has been closed for a long time, but it cannot be denied that the princess threatened those in power. We will never know what really happened that night, as it remains a mystery. When Sarah openly decided that Prince Charles wasn't the right match for her, perhaps she should have realized that the same could apply to her sister Diana. If Sarah could turn back time, she would make better choices and never introduce them to each other. Diana was a strong and kind-hearted woman, but she lived a sad life. She deserved love for the immense care she showed to others. It seems she spent her whole life trying to be worthy, as being the heir to the throne is a big role to fill, but that shouldn't have led to the dark path of the beautiful princess. Her beauty, captivating smile, and generosity will forever remain in the hearts of many. The world may miss her presence, but you know who misses her more: Prince William and Prince Harry. They experienced a deeper love from the princess, a mother who was not just behind the camera, but also dared to raise her children in ways that many considered unconventional for the royal family. She never missed an opportunity to be a part of their lives, even with her busy charity work. She helped her children see a world beyond the palace walls and taught them what a normal life without royal titles looked like. "20 years later, her children, Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, and Prince William, Duke of Wales, have kept the memories of their mother alive as they visit her grave. They organize many memorials and concerts to honor their late mother. Prince Charles, who has long been married to his longtime lover Camilla, now reign as King and Queen of England after Queen Elizabeth passed away in 2022. Every year, many continue to remember the beautiful Princess Diana. She may have passed, but her love remains fresh in the hearts of many. Thank you for watching this video. The revelations from Lady Sarah will surely make you rethink many things about Princess Diana and the royal family. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so please share your comments and questions below the video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so we can explore more fascinating stories together. See you in the next video. Princess Anne has just revealed King Charles's final wish, and what happened next left Prince William and Prince Harry completely stunned. This wasn't just a regular royal announcement. It was a turning point that took place behind closed doors at Windsor Castle. In a room filled with tension, Anne stood up and delivered an unexpected message that could shake the very foundation of the royal family. What exactly did King Charles request, and why did it leave his two sons so deeply shocked? If you think this moment changed everything, comment 1. If you're still surprised or unsure about it, leave a 0. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Now enjoy the video, and if you love these royal stories filled with mystery and emotion, don't forget to subscribe to support the channel. Recent reports have revealed an escalating conflict between Prince Harry and King Charles. The king summoned the entire family to Windsor Castle, but instead of addressing the matter directly, he delegated the task to Princess Anne, who was entrusted with delivering a crucial message that could change everything. Meghan was absent, and Harry arrived alone. The atmosphere in the room was tense as old wounds quietly resurfaced. Princess Anne stood up, calm yet resolute, and revealed the king's final wish, something none of them had been emotionally prepared for. What followed wasn't just a shock, it was an emotional collapse. William stood frozen, stunned by the sudden weight now placed on his shoulders. As for Harry, already estranged from the family, he felt every possible exit slowly closing in on him. Voices grew sharp, tension filled the room, and at that moment an undeniable truth emerged. Everything was about to change forever. This isn't the end. It's the beginning of an unexpected turning point, elevating the conflict to a new level. As Princess Anne rose, tension permeated the room. Those who had previously criticized the royal family would be silenced by this moment. There was no ceremony, no embellishment, just a chilling truth that shook long-standing traditions. Anne, as the only person King Charles trusted, spoke not merely as a princess, but as the one tasked with delivering a message that could permanently reshape the future of the royal family. That moment wasn't just a transfer of power, it was a monumental test for every family member. With each word spoken, long-hidden fears and conflicts surged. And no matter how anyone reacted, one thing was certain: this change was irreversible. There was no going back for anyone. Do you think William is ready to take on this responsibility, or should it fall to someone else? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm really curious to know who you think should take the lead in this sensitive time. And what about Harry? After everything that has happened between him and the family, do you think he still has a chance to come back, or are all doors truly closed? Comment, still a chance, if you believe in reconciliation, or hopeless if you think it's too late for that. What Princess Anne revealed wasn't just a statement, it was a verdict. King Charles, despite his health weakened by illness, maintained a clear awareness of the throne's fragility, making a vital decision. His choice didn't stem from emotion or favoritism, but from a deep understanding of the challenges the monarchy had faced for decades: divorces, scandals, and serious accusations. He knew that for the dynasty to survive, the next step wasn't merely about maintaining peace. It required a clear vision and strategy to overcome difficulties and restore the royal family's prestige. And he chose Anne, not William, not Camilla, and not the royal advisors, but Anne. Because in a family where the truth was always hidden, she was the only one who never tried to evade it. Her words seemed gentle, but they carried a ruthless weight. King Charles's final wish wasn't to hand everything over to William as many had assumed. The story of a future king inheriting all now seemed too predictable, too old-fashioned. Charles's decision defied all expectations, creating a massive shift and opening an unexpected new chapter in royal history. Instead, the king outlined a strategic plan, a division of influence, roles, and responsibilities that transcended all ties of blood and title. William remained the heir to the throne. That was unchanged. However, Charles chose a broader vision. He clearly saw the fractured relationships, public speculation, and echoes of history to forge a new path, a path that would not only protect the monarchy, but also potentially end the long-standing chain of tragedies devastating the royal family, bringing lasting hope and harmony. For Harry, this decision was a profound shock. It didn't erase him, but it also didn't restore his former status. He was placed in a position unprecedented in royal history, acknowledged yet always out of reach. Succession was now not just about assets, but about influence and standing about who would be remembered as the future of the monarchy and who would become a discordant, faded footnote in the flow of history. Anne stressed that this decision wasn't born from personal hatred or resentment. It was made for the survival and stability of the monarchy. In that room laden with historical weight, she announced her brother's verdict, not just for his two sons, but for the future of the entire royal family. Her straightforwardness, once deemed too harsh, now became the only weapon capable of cutting through the layers of tension and conflict that had accumulated over time. As the initial shock subsided, fear surged. If Charles had made such a decision, discreet yet symbolic, something far greater must have compelled him. Behind the king's bold choice lay a deeper story rooted in historical events and unhealed wounds. To understand his final wish, we must return to the past, to moments when the monarchy's fate was decided by unexpected turning points. If you're interested in inside stories from the royal family, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss fascinating videos about untold secrets and hidden corners of the royal palace. Charles's path to the throne was never a given, but rather the result of silent sacrifices, challenging scandals, and the heavy duty he always bore without complaint. Everything began with a decision that shook the monarchy nearly a century ago when Edward VIII abdicated for love. This decision wasn't just a personal turning point, it created a domino effect, completely altering the fate and form of the British royal family, opening up paths no one could have predicted. Edward's younger brother, George VI, reluctantly ascended the throne, shouldering immense responsibilities only for his early death to force a young, unprepared girl to become Queen Elizabeth II. She went on to have the longest reign in British history and became a symbol of stability, a steadfast role model for subsequent royal generations, including her son, Charles. From a young age, Charles witnessed his mother bear that monumental burden, and he also felt the loneliness, sacrifice, and silent pain that responsibility brought. For him, destiny wasn't a romantic tale or a myth, but a harsh, cold, and challenging reality. The moment for Charles to ascend the throne seemed to take forever, as the world around him constantly changed, and he remained under intense public scrutiny, every action and word examined. But finally, that moment arrived against a backdrop of a fractured monarchy, a divided family, and eroding public trust. When Queen Elizabeth II passed away in 2022, Charles not only lost his beloved mother, but also the last symbol of stability within the royal family. Immediately after his ascension, he faced a cancer diagnosis, making time, which he had always considered an invaluable asset, limited and filled with anxiety. He was no longer a prince with an open future, but a king burdened with historical responsibility, needing to act swiftly and skillfully to avoid repeating the chaos of the past. In that tense and high-pressure environment, Charles faced unprecedented challenges. He had to simultaneously maintain the image of a steady leader in public, while also managing internal conflicts and protecting the monarchy's reputation amid an incessant media onslaught. He clearly understood that the throne wasn't just a symbol of power, but also a heavy burden of responsibility, demanding innovation and adaptability to ensure the monarchy's survival in the 21st century. Charles was forced to find a balance between preserving tradition and embracing modernity, between royal solemnity and public accessibility, aiming to forge a royal image that was not only respected, but also approachable, beloved, and understood in this new era. Now, every decision isn't just about protecting William. It's about safeguarding the very essence of the monarchy itself. Charles began making choices not based on tradition, but on survival, personal, emotionally charged, and incredibly bold strategies. His final wish wasn't designed to follow the mold, but to break it, even if that meant sacrificing himself to save the monarchy. Because the king had lived long enough to understand that the past wasn't a script to be replayed, but a warning that needed to be rewritten. As King Charles's reign slowly counts down, a new chapter is quietly forming behind closed doors. While the world watches him, another force is silently rising beside him, ready to change everything. In the twilight of a king's final years, a new foundation is quietly, deliberately, and irreversibly being laid. William and Kate, once seen as the epitome of a modern royal romance, are now stepping into the most pivotal roles of their lives. Not through grand pronouncements, but through responsibilities quietly transferred behind palace doors. With every public appearance, every diplomatic meeting, every royal duty, they're not just representing the crown. They are preparing to inherit and bear its weight. Even before Charles's illness forced everyone to confront reality, this transfer of power had already quietly begun. Especially Kate, who has gradually moved into the very center of royal life. Not because she was asked to, but because the monarchy needed her to step up. Even before the shocking cancer diagnosis rattled the royals, Kate had begun taking on greater responsibilities, attending events solo, quietly, spearheading important projects, hosting international dignitaries, always maintaining the demeanor of a future queen. Unlike those who previously resisted royal expectations, Kate never backed down. She adapted, grew through each challenge, and earned respect not only from the public but also from the royal family itself. Behind the scenes, Operation Menai Bridge, the code name for King Charles's succession plan, has been in motion for a long time. This plan meticulously outlines every step the royal family will take the moment Charles passes away or abdicates, from informing the Prime Minister and lowering flags to transferring the king's body to Westminster Abbey. Every detail is carefully rehearsed like a precise dance, preparing for a perfect and seamless transfer of power. However, some things can't be rehearsed emotions and the weight of the legacy the next generation must bear. For William and Kate, that moment is no longer distant. It's drawing closer every day. What the public sees is perfection, but behind that surface are immense sacrifices. Kate's world may have shrunk in terms of personal space, but it has expanded in stature. Although her schedule revolves around royal duties, her heart remains with her children. She has to find a way to balance being a mother, a wife, a public figure, and a queen in training. Yet she maintains her composure to the extent that she was once directly praised by Queen Elizabeth. And now that composure isn't just a cherished quality, it's essential for facing the future ahead. When the inevitable happens, when Charles no longer holds the throne, public attention won't just converge on William, but on Kate as well. Although William has been prepared for years to be king, he now faces the reality of his father reigning under declining health. This forces him to prepare sooner, become more decisive, and shoulder far heavier responsibilities than he ever imagined. William no longer has the luxury of waiting decades as his father did. The monarchy demands immediate succession with great strength and adaptability. This pressure now rests on his shoulders, while a brother still watches from afar and perhaps won't remain silent for much longer. Prince Harry, despite living thousands of miles away in another country, couldn't avoid being pulled back into the heart of the royal family's upheavals, especially after the king's crucial final decisions. For years, Harry had tried to build a private life, seeking personal freedom separate from the spotlight of the throne he was born into. He chose to live authentically and find peace rather than remain tied to the titles and lavish life that royalty offered. However, no matter how much Harry tried to distance himself and live life on his own terms, the royal system relentlessly pulled him back. The weight of tradition and family duty, like an invisible tether, constantly drew him in, forcing Harry to confront difficult challenges and choices. Internal conflicts, public scrutiny, and external pressures ceaselessly converged on him, placing him in a position no one in the royal family could entirely escape. Even so, Harry has held firm to his own resolve, and will striving to find a balance between family affection and personal freedom, between past and future. His story is a vivid testament to the ongoing conflicts within a modern royal family, where personal liberty sometimes comes at the cost of heavy responsibility and duty. Harry isn't just a member of the royal family, he's also a symbol of the struggle between tradition and change, between public scrutiny and a challenging private life. Now, with King Charles's health declining and the royal machinery silently shifting, Harry finds himself trapped between two identities, a brother who walked away and a brother who can never fully escape. As Charles's final decisions begin to impact the entire family, all eyes turn to the Duke of Sussex, wondering if he will return to the eye of the storm or if he will be the one to ignite it. His relationship with the royal family continues to fracture irreparably. While the public still hears declarations of love and respect, what unfolds behind closed doors tells a different story, one of darkness and tension. Prince Harry and Prince William haven't truly spoken for years, with wounds unhealed since Meghan joined the family, the dramatic royal exit, and the explosive Oprah interview. These conflicts have never mended, and Harry's memoir Spare, with its deep and unforgiving criticisms, made reconciliation almost impossible. However, few know that Spare isn't the whole story. A source close to Harry reveals that a second manuscript exists longer and containing many previously unreleased revelations. This draft remains under wraps, much like Harry himself, awaiting the opportune moment to bring it to light. Now, as King Charles quietly battles illness and William gradually prepares to ascend the throne, speculation about Harry continuing to observe and chronicle his life grows stronger. Within royal circles, many believe a second memoir will soon be released, promising new and deeper insights into untold stories. Its launch could once again shake the royal family, while also opening dramatic new chapters in the story the entire world is following. This time the book will be released after Charles's death, and unlike Spare, it won't be overshadowed by grief. Instead, it will be sharp, uninhibited, and potentially lead to irreversible consequences. However, Harry remains hesitant, hoping for a chance at reconciliation, but if that doesn't materialize, could he ever return to royal life under William's reign? This is the question echoing within the royal family, and one that no one can answer right now. Legally, Harry is still a prince by blood, but titles now mean nothing when trust is shattered. For William, Harry's actions have crossed a point of no return, and upon ascending the throne, William will have the power to define his position, or perhaps no place at all. Some still believe there's hope if Harry makes the first move, but many others warn that it's too late, as every interview and minor action by Harry only pushes him further away from the royal family. The big question is whether Harry will return or burn the final bridge. The answer doesn't just depend on Harry's wishes, but on William's judgment. The next chapter of the monarchy is no longer being written based on Charles's compassion, but is slowly being shaped in William's shadow, the one preparing to step into true leadership. According to inside sources, William's first move might be to fully strip Harry and Meghan of their HRH titles, with no half-measures ambiguity or leniency. The crown isn't just a title, it's power, and William seems ready to wield it. As the Prince of Wales, William undertakes a range of crucial diplomatic and royal duties. His responsibilities include traveling globally as a representative of the royal family, attending formal events on behalf of the Queen, and engaging in charitable work to support communities. He also participates in ceremonial and symbolic royal activities, from hosting elaborate banquets to representing the British government in other nations. With each assignment, William demonstrates himself not only as an active royal, but also as a dedicated individual always ready to contribute to the monarchy's development and prosperity. For example, during their visit to Caribbean nations in spring 2020, William and Kate received a warm public welcome. However, the trip wasn't without its challenges, including criticism from Jamaica's Prime Minister regarding the Queen's role as head of state, along with protests in Belize that altered the royal itinerary. Despite these hurdles, William and Kate left a strong impression due to their steady presence and sense of duty throughout the trip, demonstrating dedication and professionalism even in difficult circumstances. On May 6, 2023, William participated in King Charles's coronation, where he knelt and pledged allegiance to his father. Should King Charles become unable to perform his duties, William as heir would assume the role of regent. While he wouldn't have the power to alter the line of succession, the regency would allow William to carry out most of the monarch's responsibilities, including diplomatic obligations and crucial decisions concerning the nation and the royal family. William and Catherine have always been warmly welcomed on their international visits. In 2011, Canada was their first destination after the wedding, including stops in Ottawa, Quebec, Prince Edward Island, and Alberta. The visit strengthened the close relationship between Canada and the United Kingdom, featuring events such as Canada Day celebrations and tours of local communities. In 2012, they embarked on a tour of Southeast Asia and the South Pacific to mark the 60th anniversary of Queen Elizabeth II's reign, visiting Singapore, Malaysia, the Solomon Islands, and Tuvalu. This trip not only aimed to strengthen diplomatic relations, but also served as an opportunity to explore significant cultural sites, meet with local leaders, and participate in the unique traditional ceremonies of each country. Through this journey, the close ties between the United Kingdom and the countries in the region were highlighted, while also promoting cooperation and mutual understanding across various areas. In 2014, William, Catherine, and their son, Prince George, undertook a tour of Australia and New Zealand. This was Prince George's first international trip, with an itinerary that included the cities of Sydney, Canberra, Wellington, and Auckland. The visit not only aimed to promote charitable organizations, but also helped strengthen the close ties between the countries of the Commonwealth. In 2016, the couple visited India and Bhutan, with notable stops at Kaziranga National Park and the capital city Delhi. During the trip, they met with senior leaders, introduced important conservation initiatives, and participated in traditional festivals celebrating India's rich cultural heritage. In Bhutan, they had a warm meeting with the Bhutanese royal family, strengthening diplomatic ties between the two countries. The journey also reflected their deep respect for culture and the environment as they undertook the trek to Taksang, the famous Tiger's Nest monastery. In an effort to strengthen diplomatic relations in the post-Brexit context, William and Catherine undertook a visit to Germany and Poland in 2017. Their itinerary included the cities of Berlin, Heidelberg, Warsaw, and Gdansk. At each stop, they actively participated in distinctive cultural events, visited important historical sites, and met with government leaders to foster greater cooperation and mutual understanding between the countries. Prince William has long been a powerful advocate for ending homelessness and raising awareness about mental health. Deeply inspired by his late mother, Princess Diana, an icon of compassion and empathy, William has consistently infused these humanitarian values into his work, tirelessly striving to create positive change within communities. The Royal Foundation, established by Prince William and Prince Harry in 2009, stands as a clear testament to William's strong commitment to supporting those facing challenges with mental health and homelessness. The foundation has become a vital platform, driving numerous meaningful projects and campaigns aimed at improving lives and raising public awareness about these sensitive issues. One of the foundation's most prominent initiatives is the Heads Together program, launched in 2016 and co-founded by William, Catherine, and Harry. This program not only seeks to eliminate stigma and prejudice surrounding mental health, but also encourages open dialogue, fostering a more compassionate and understanding community. In doing so, it contributes to building a supportive and accepting environment for people struggling with mental health challenges worldwide. Prince William is also keenly aware of the importance of mental health in the workplace and has supported initiatives aimed at improving the emotional well-being of employees. Alongside Catherine and Harry, he helped establish the Shout service in 2019, the UK's first 24/7 crisis text line. Shout provides free and confidential support to anyone in need, becoming a lifeline for those who may feel uncomfortable seeking help through traditional channels. Tackling homelessness is a cause very close to Prince William's heart. He has carried on the legacy of his mother, Princess Diana, who was a patron of the organization Centrepoint and often took her children to visit support centers. William also gained first-hand experience by spending a night sleeping outdoors, witnessing up close the hardships faced by homeless individuals. These experiences have motivated him to actively lead initiatives aimed at helping homeless families and individuals achieve better lives. Centrepoint is a non-profit organization in the UK that supports homeless youth in finding housing, education, and employment. In 2005, Prince William followed in his mother's footsteps by becoming a patron of Centrepoint, demonstrating his commitment to the organization's mission. Additionally, he has contributed to The Passage, a London-based charity that assists homeless people in the city. William and his mother made their first visit to The Passage in 1993. He supports these organizations through financial donations, raising awareness, and participating in charitable programs that provide housing, food, and essential supplies to those experiencing homelessness. Prince William and Prince Harry were once very close, bonded like best friends through shared childhood experiences and the pain of losing their mother. Their relationship was built on a mutual commitment to community service and deep empathy following the death of Princess Diana. However, in recent years, the two brothers have begun to follow separate paths, developing different careers and personal goals, which has led to emotional distance and differences in perspective. After the wedding of Prince William and Duchess Kate, the royal staff and their teams continued to coordinate managing schedules and communications. However, the relationship between the two brothers began to change after Prince Harry married Meghan Markle in 2018. In January 2020, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, senior members of the royal family, announced their plan to step back from royal duties. They decided to reside in California, pursue financial independence, and live a more private life. This decision, often referred to as the Megxit, became a significant milestone in the history of the British royal family. Reports indicate that the Sussexes' move to North America and their stepping back from royal duties caused dissatisfaction and tension within the family. In a widely publicized interview with Oprah Winfrey in March 2021, Harry and Meghan shared the difficulties they faced, including allegations of racism and a lack of support regarding mental health issues. Some of Harry's remarks in the interview also suggested conflicts with his father, Prince Charles, and his brother William, beyond the issues within the royal system. However, since the controversial interview, Prince William has shown restraint by refraining from publicly discussing his relationship with his younger brother. At significant events, such as their father's coronation in 2023, William did not mention Harry in public, clearly maintaining a distance in the media. According to reliable royal sources, William still harbors deep frustration and disappointment toward Harry for his decision to leave the royal family and for making their personal disagreements public. This has greatly diminished the chances for the brothers to reconcile and rebuild their relationship, making an already complex bond even more fragile and uncertain in the near future. Prior to this, Camilla Shand had a rather complicated and turbulent past, which has always been a point of controversy within the royal circles. She had several relationships that were not particularly smooth and was seen as not fitting the traditional image expected by the royal family. This past, along with the age difference between her and Charles, became a significant barrier, causing many within the royal family to doubt Camilla's suitability as the future king's consort. These suspicions and prejudices made the relationship between Camilla and Charles not just a matter of romance, but also a major challenge in terms of reputation and royal tradition. The relationship between a spouse and their partner's ex is inherently delicate, becoming even more complicated when that ex is a well-known and influential figure within the royal family, such as Princess Anne. Camilla, who has always maintained a calm and discreet demeanor in public, has never openly shown any opposition toward Anne, yet those closely following the royal family have sensed a subtle tension simmering between the two. The situation grew even more awkward when Camilla's marriage to Andrew ended, and she subsequently married Prince Charles, Anne's brother. This not only made Camilla the wife of the brother of Anne's former partner, but also created an awkward and complex dynamic within relationships that had long been marked by disagreements among royal family members. Camilla's emergence as Charles's wife further stirred uncomfortable emotions and significant challenges, intensifying the already tense atmosphere within the family like never before. Even more than that, Camilla has long been seen by many as a key factor contributing to the breakdown of the marriage between Charles and Diana. Diana was deeply beloved by the public, and her memory remains vividly alive in people's hearts. Because of this, Camilla's presence and role within the royal family have stirred a wide range of complex emotions, from suspicion and opposition to gradual efforts toward acceptance. This not only created significant internal challenges within the monarchy, but also had a profound impact on the image and survival of the royal institution in the modern era. Princess Anne is widely known for her steadfast loyalty and deep commitment to the traditional values of the royal family. She is someone who finds it difficult to accept changes or individuals entering the royal household under complicated circumstances, especially when such developments seem to threaten the stability of the long-held principles she cherishes. Having dedicated her entire life to strict discipline and absolute devotion to her royal duties, Anne views Camilla's presence in the royal family not merely as that of an ordinary individual, but as a symbol of the profound changes unfolding within the monarchy. To her, Camilla represents a challenging shift as the institution gradually moves away from rigid traditional frameworks, ushering in a new era that is both uncertain and controversial. The tension between loyalty to tradition and the inevitability of change has caused Anne to grapple with complex emotions while raising significant questions about the future of the monarchy in the modern age. She may not personally dislike Camilla, but she certainly does not accept the choices that have led Camilla to her role as queen consort. From Anne's perspective, royal life means duty first and emotions second. This belief has guided her actions and likely created an emotional distance between her and Camilla. Over time, the public has seen fewer moments of the two women together. Although they attend the same events, their interactions are brief and formal. Behind the scenes, a true bond has never really formed. Too much has happened. Their shared history, intersecting paths, pain, and shifting roles within the family have made it difficult to build anything meaningful between them. Anne has always demonstrated quiet strength and steadfastness in every royal duty she undertakes. She does not easily grant respect or show courtesy unless it stems from concrete actions and sincere commitment. For Anne, titles or family ties only truly hold meaning when accompanied by loyalty and relentless effort. It is this serious and determined attitude that has made her a solid pillar, respected and trusted by both the family and the public, serving as a symbol of dedication and responsibility in preserving the traditions and reputation of the monarchy. Princess Anne has remained absolutely loyal to the crown and the monarchy for many decades. This loyalty was forged through years of dedication to her duties and a deep bond with her mother, Queen Elizabeth II. From a young age, Anne was raised in a strict environment surrounded by unwavering rules and responsibilities values that have guided every action she takes. Her commitment and devotion are evident not only in her official responsibilities, but also in the way she consistently puts the interests of the nation and the monarchy above all else, becoming a symbol of steadfastness and dedication in the hearts of both the public and the royal family. When Prince Charles began moving closer to making Camilla his wife, Anne went through an intense inner struggle to accept this difficult reality. For her, it was not merely a matter of personal discomfort or opposition, but a profound threat to the values and traditions that the royal family has cherished and upheld for generations. Throughout Princess Diana's life, the relationship between Charles and Camilla was always at the center of public controversy and relentless criticism from the media and the public. Anne believes that the damage to the royal family's image and reputation caused by this situation during those years has left a deep and lasting mark on the minds of both the public and family members, significantly affecting the prestige and stability of the monarchy. For Anne, royal life has never been merely about titles, praise, or lavish ceremonies. It is a responsibility to serve the people with grace, resilience, and a quiet but unwavering determination. In her eyes, Camilla has yet to truly prove that she possesses the qualities necessary to fulfill that role. She lacks the essential traits and values strict discipline, the ability to overcome challenges, and a deep sense of duty to the community. Over time, things have grown more complicated as the monarchy entered a new phase, and Camilla's position has changed significantly. Now, as queen consort, Camilla is no longer a peripheral figure, but has become an important partner standing beside the king, representing the royal family to the world. Prince William also plays a crucial role in this power shift. His clear support for Catherine has helped elevate her status and influence within the royal family. As the heir to the throne, William's loyalty and partnership are key factors. Meanwhile, Prince Charles must find a way to balance his duties as king with the complex relationships involving both his wife and his son's family. This balance is fragile, and any sign of favoritism or tension could deepen divisions. In this quiet yet very real competition for attention, approval, and influence, both women must navigate carefully and tactfully. Whether you stand with William or Harry, one thing is undeniable. The moment Princess Anne conveyed King Charles's final wish marked an irreversible turning point in royal history. All eyes are now on the future, a future full of turmoil where old conflicts may either serve as a springboard for change or become the cause of permanent division. What do you think will happen next? Who will truly rise to take the central role during this turbulent time? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'll read every single one. And if you found this video interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the latest royal updates. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. What if a single ring hidden for decades turned out to be the key to the final message from Diana? When Prince William opened his mother's old jewelry box, he discovered a secret he never could have imagined. An inscription in Latin, a whisper from the past one that only those involved could understand. Do you want to know why this made William remain silent? Join us as we uncover the story of the forgotten jewelry box through time. What do you think about the secret gift that Prince William discovered? Could it be a message Princess Diana wanted to pass on to her family? Leave a 1 if you're curious about royal secrets, and if not, leave a 0. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss out on the exciting videos coming up. It all didn't begin with a grand ceremony or royal decisions. It began in a peaceful and quiet moment. At Althorpe House, where Diana spent her childhood and where she rests for eternity, Prince William stood in a room that had remained untouched for decades. The silence was profound, and the golden rays of the afternoon sun streamed through the window, casting light on the dust particles floating in the air. In front of William was a simple velvet box, once belonging to the woman the world admired, the mother he called by one simple name, Mum. He had expected to find a crown, a pearl necklace, or sparkling sapphire stones, the precious items Diana often wore to grand ceremonies. But when he opened the box, the shimmering light of ancestral treasures was no longer there. Instead, he discovered something far more intimate and simple, an ivory-colored envelope showing signs of age gently tinged with yellow. The inscription on the envelope, written by his mother's hand, was clearly not meant for the public. William, his name, written in Diana's own delicate handwriting. There was no royal wax seal, no official stationery, just the gentle words of a mother. Prince William was stunned. He opened the envelope, his hands trembling. As the envelope unfolded, it revealed not only a ring, but also a message full of meaning. The deep emerald ring, intricately designed, was unlike any of the other jewelry Diana had ever owned. But the most important part lay in the note inside, written with a clear sense of responsibility for the one who would carry on both tradition and ideals. This was not just a piece of jewelry. It was a symbol, a compass, a final reminder of the mission Diana had nurtured. Upon closer inspection, Prince William noticed the Latin inscription engraved on the ribbon inside the ring, Veritas Lux. Truth is my light. It was a message meant for the one who would bear this immense responsibility. The ring was not just a piece of jewelry. It was an eternal symbol, a guiding light for a future that Diana would never witness. This jewelry box had been kept at Althorpe for many years, under the care of Diana's brother, Earl Charles Spencer. It was hidden in a room that no one was allowed to enter. For years, no one knew the contents of the box. Then one day, when the family began a project to catalog Diana's personal belongings, the box was discovered. But what had been concealed all these years now raised countless unanswered questions. Why was this ring separated from Diana's other royal jewelry? Why did no one in the monarchy, where everything is protected and monitored, know about its existence? And most importantly, why did Diana leave it for William alone? Some say that when he discovered the ring, he was moved to tears. Others recount that William remained silent for hours, saying nothing. But one thing is certain: when he left that room, his state of mind had completely changed. It was not for wealth, nor for status, but for the voice of a mother echoing through time, meant for the child who would carry the weight of both tradition and truth. What did Diana see that was about to happen? What was she afraid of? And what did she know that no one else did? Though the box had been forgotten by time, the message inside now shines like a lighthouse, lighting every path ahead. Stay tuned, as what William uncovers next could change the fate of the royal family forever. Princess Charlotte, though born into royalty, has grown up in a world full of complexities where legacies are quietly creating a battlefield. On the surface, her world seems to sparkle with crowns, festivities, and grand ceremonies. But beneath that glamorous exterior, a silent tension is waiting to erupt, a tension that began long before she was born. Charlotte, whether aware or not, stands between two royal women who have never shared the throne, yet their shadows are deeply etched upon it. On one side is Princess Diana, a name forever tied to tears and public applause. To the public, she was a symbol of compassion and courage. But to William, Diana was more than just a symbol. She was a mother, a presence that has always lingered in his life. Family moments from old photographs to tapes with her voice continue to live vividly in his memory. On the other side is Queen Camilla, the woman who married into the royal family but has never escaped the scrutinizing gaze. Her image, always meticulously groomed, does not bring warm smiles, but seems to lack depth. Her relationship with William's children, though cordial, lacks the warmth of a true family. There are no spontaneous hugs, no laughter around the kitchen table. While she is very close to her biological grandchildren with George, Charlotte, and Louis, the connection feels distant with visits always carefully planned. Interactions among the royal family often seem carefully staged. In contrast, Charlotte quietly absorbs everything around her. Those close to the family describe her as a child who observes keenly always, noticing changes in tone and habits, listening more than speaking. Though just 9 years old, she has already earned the title of the most perceptive child in the family. Perhaps this is why the recent whispers about a quiet murmur, an obvious hesitation, and the subtle distance between Charlotte and Camilla have sparked such curiosity. Has Charlotte sensed the divide, felt its weight? Has she perhaps unknowingly started to empathize with the grandmother she never met, but seems to understand on a deep, instinctual level? William and Catherine have always strived to raise their children with emotional awareness, cherishing their feelings and encouraging them to speak the truth gently. But what happens when that instinct is torn between royal duty and personal truth? Charlotte's life will always be torn between royal duty and the personal truths she must face. But it is through her choices, the people she turns to, and what she says when the cameras aren't looking that something deeper is being revealed. Charlotte may still be young, but in this royal family story, she is far from a supporting character. The loyalty she is beginning to form may shape the future of the monarchy in ways more powerful than anyone could imagine. For decades, Camilla Parker Bowles has lived in the shadow of royal history. She was a name rarely mentioned, a controversial figure. However, now Camilla wears the crown officially crowned as queen and standing alongside King Charles in the historic responsibility she must bear. Despite this acceptance of her remains a challenging task. The title may have been granted, but trust and recognition from the people must be built and nurtured over time. Inside the palace, Camilla's path has never been smooth. Her relationship with Prince William remains one of politeness and outward respect, yet emotionally distant. Though William has never openly criticized her, he has also never publicly shown affection for her. That silence speaks volumes, and the true tension lies not only in William's heart, but also in the hearts of his children. With her own grandchildren, Camilla is said to be very dedicated often, organizing garden picnics, handing out sweets, and telling bedtime stories. However, with George, Charlotte, and Louis, there is a clear distance in their relationship. There are no cozy photos, no cheerful anecdotes, only moments that seem staged where warmth is implied but never truly demonstrated. And in Charlotte's case, Camilla's absence at significant events becomes even more apparent. At public ceremonies, Camilla rarely interacts with her grandchildren. Private family gatherings seldom show the closeness between her and her grandchildren either. While Catherine always nurtures a connection, Camilla maintains a certain distance, creating a boundary that is not born of malice, but perhaps uncertainty. It seems that even now she is unsure of her place in the hearts of the future generation. But children are incredibly perceptive, especially Charlotte. And that's when the whisper appeared. A whisper accidentally picked up by the microphone. Although it wasn't meant for the headlines, it was still published. What did Charlotte say in that moment? Some believe it was a comment on Camilla's behavior. Others think it was a question and accidental doubt voiced aloud. Whatever the words, they struck a chord with those who heard them, because they showed that even children within the royal family can sense the divide. Camilla may not have intentionally caused harm, but legacy is not shaped by intention, it is shaped by impact. And if a child raised in a family that values truth and emotions starts to feel discord, coldness, and isolation, what does that say about the unity of the royal family? Camilla's journey to the throne may be complete, but the path for her to earn the affection of the next generation remains filled with questions. The smallest royal woman in this room may just be the one holding the answers. The shadow of Diana still lingers faint, but ever present. She passed away nearly 3 decades ago, yet the influence of Princess Diana has never faded, especially within the Wales family. To the public, she is a symbol of compassion and rebellion. To her grandchildren, she is a legendary figure, not a ghost, not a memory, but something vivid, profound. With Charlotte, the presence of Diana, though long gone, remains particularly vivid. It all began with the stories softly told before bedtime passed down by William and Catherine like family heirlooms. William says that Diana would have loved the laughter of her children. She was courageous, kind, and always spoke the truth. Catherine strengthens Diana's legacy through the charities bearing her name and teaches the children about empathy rather than mere politeness. Charlotte carries Diana's name, and she radiates a fiery beauty, a powerful continuation of a legacy. Observers have long remarked on the striking similarities between Charlotte and Diana, the tilted chin, sharp eyes, and emotions that are never concealed. But more importantly, it is the emotional intelligence, the sense of justice, and the quiet refusal to conform that make the connection between her and Diana undeniable. When Charlotte appears before the public, she exudes calmness and independence, leaving even the most seasoned royal watchers in awe. At the Queen Elizabeth Jubilee, Charlotte did not merely wave. She made a powerful statement with her mischievous smile and knowing gaze, as if she understood far more than she let on. And then the contrast between the two royal women became more evident than ever. If Diana once brought warmth to the cold palaces, Camilla brings peace but not comfort. She brings stillness, stability, but not the warmth a royal family needs. Charlotte, growing up in the embrace of her grandmother's legacy, can sense that difference. She may not fully understand the entire story, but children don't need the truth to recognize a rift. She knows that one woman in her life is spoken of with love and respect, while the other is only mentioned with politeness and reserve. That contrast carries weight and is gradually shaping her. Charlotte may never sit on the throne, but she could become a figure of power just as formidable. A moral compass for a monarchy, searching for its soul. And Diana's spirit, she doesn't haunt the palace. She is guiding it through a granddaughter, one who sees through everything and speaks up at the most crucial moments, the silent tensions at palace events. Royal occasions are often designed to impress golden carriages, finely crafted hats, smiles meticulously arranged. This is a high-stakes drama. But for those who watch closely, it's not the dazzling display that matters, it's the moments of silence. A fleeting moment in full regalia, lasting less than 3 seconds, went viral almost instantly. When the royal family gathered on the balcony of Buckingham Palace, Princess Charlotte subtly leaned away from Camilla. It was so slight, almost imperceptible, but the cameras caught it, and the frame was frozen, dissected, and analyzed. This was not an isolated incident. At the funeral of Queen Elizabeth II, insiders recalled an exchange that reportedly caused a momentary tension within the family. According to reports, Camilla seemed displeased with a brief whisper between Charlotte and George. This moment escalated behind the scenes. Camilla was said to have requested that Charlotte be removed from the row of seats, but William and Catherine refused. The consequences were not severe, but they were undeniably cold. At the coronation, one of the most watched events in royal history, Charlotte's gesture told a story of its own. She bowed respectfully to her grandfather, but when passing Camilla, there was no gaze, no gesture, only silence. Was this a coincidence or a choice? Time and again these small moments accumulate. There are no public outbursts, no royal scandals, just a series of silences that reveal something deeper. The way Charlotte carries herself, the people she turns to, and those she avoids have not escaped the notice of those within the palace. They might dismiss it as the mood swings of a child, but those who understand the language of legacy see it more clearly. Children reveal truths that adults try to hide. And when a royal child raised in emotional fluency begins to withdraw, even if subtly that withdrawal carries weight, Charlotte may never speak it aloud, but she has already spoken, and what she hasn't said is what rewrites everything, the whisper that started it all. So what do you think about the signs Charlotte is showing? Is she starting to realize what's going on around her? Leave a 1 if you sense that change, or a 0 if you think her actions are still not quite clear. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This was never meant to be heard. Not by the cameras, not by the press, and certainly not by a world still haunted by royal tragedies. But in one careless moment, a whisper from Princess Charlotte broke a long-buried, fractured boundary hidden beneath courtly smiles and carefully rehearsed traditions. It happened at a garden party, the kind of event where powdered sugar on pastries hides subtle tensions, and every step is rehearsed. Charlotte, dressed in blue, stood beside her mother, her calm gaze scanning the crowd with the familiar poise. Then came Queen Camilla, smiling, wearing gloves, radiant in a pastel outfit. And then the whisper. The cameras didn't capture the words, but the reactions of those around her were caught. Catherine subtly turned her head towards her daughter. William's face hardened. Camilla paused for half a second, just enough for seasoned royal watchers to feel it. Something had been said. That evening, experts in lip reading and body language carefully analyzed the footage. A theory emerged among the crowd. Charlotte had asked, "Why is she pretending to be nice?" This has never been confirmed, but it doesn't necessarily need to be. The palace, renowned for its silence on internal matters, declined to comment. But behind those closed doors, that moment has not been forgotten. It was the question of a child holding a painful truth, echoing through the gilded halls and creeping into the hearts of a family still haunted by unspoken wounds. For Charlotte, perhaps it was just curiosity. But for those who lived through Diana's years, it carried a meaning far deeper, a ripple from the past. Because the last time anyone dared to openly question royal appearances in such a way, it was Diana who spoke out through interviews, her gaze, and yes, even her jewelry. And now her granddaughter is quietly rebelling. Not with sensational headlines, but simply with 6 gentle words. Why is she pretending to be nice? It was not an attack. It was a reflection. A child raised to trust her emotions, simply reacting to something she couldn't name, but clearly felt. And in doing so, she may have said what others only thought. Some in the company were said to have urged William and Catherine to tighten the boundaries to prevent the children from absorbing outdated narratives. But others closer to the couple believe it is too late. The legacy lives on in Charlotte. Intuition runs deep. The whisper that started it all has now become a quiet symbol, a warning, a change, a moment when the next generation subtly stepped outside the royal mold. And so Diana's voice has found a new home, not in scandal, not in rebellion, but in a whisper that refuses to be ignored. The atmosphere and the mirror. Prince William once served as the bridge between the old and the new, but now he has become the mirror reflecting the contradictions torn between 2 legacies, one born of duty, the other born of truth. And Charlotte's whisper does not only echo through the palace halls, it has reached him. In the days that followed, William was said to be silent, distant, and contemplative. His aides noticed the change. A close source revealed that it wasn't anger. It was acknowledgement. An acknowledgement that his daughter was seeing what he had learned to bury. An acknowledgement that the past isn't truly the past, and perhaps it never will be, because Charlotte's comment didn't come from defiance. It came from intuition, and William knew exactly where she had inherited that from Diana. He has spent many years trying to balance the legacy of his mother with the institution she once sought to escape. He walks with the bearing of a king, but carries within him the memory of a young man who held her hand through the pain. He married for love, raised his children with emotional sincerity, and leads with compassion. But deep down, he still bears the scars of a family struggling with itself. And now he witnesses that struggle unfold once again, this time through the eyes of his daughter. William doesn't want his daughter to bear the same burdens. But how can you shield a child from the truth when that truth is evident in family photos? Camilla, by all official accounts, has never been cruel to the children. But in the royal world, cruelty is often not expressed. It's passive, it's absent, distance, the coldness behind the smile. Charlotte sees it. William realizes that she sees it. And suddenly, the boundary between the past and the future begins to blur. Insiders say that William has become more cautious in his meetings with senior royal members since the whispering incident. He asks more questions, challenges more protocols, and exercises stricter control over who spends time with his children, because he knows what Diana went through. Legacy is not just what you leave behind, it's what you allow to continue. If Charlotte can sense the divide, if at the age of 9 she can recognize which truths sound hollow, then William must decide the path he will lead her down. Will he protect the institution or protect her spirit? That is the same question Diana once asked herself. And now, William stands before the same mirror. This time with his daughter, he is looking at the quiet shield of Catherine. If William is the bridge and Charlotte is the mirror, then Catherine is the shield, silent, resolute, and sharp, beneath her calm, velvet exterior. And in the storm of whispers, the legacy and untold truths rising, Catherine's role has never been more important or more difficult. From the moment she entered the royal family, Catherine mastered the art of survival. She learned the rules. She followed the protocols, and gradually, methodically, she became the monarchy's most invaluable stabilizing force. But beneath her dazzling exterior and dignified demeanor, Catherine carries a fierce maternal instinct. Her top priority has always been her children. And when Charlotte whispered her now famous question, something within Catherine is said to have changed. Those closest to her say she became more cautious, more selective in family gatherings, present more often in meetings with senior royal members. Not to challenge, but to protect, because Catherine understands what unspoken discomfort looks like. She knows how a cold smile can hurt fragile hearts, and she understands exactly how much weight a child's intuition can carry. She doesn't correct Charlotte's instincts. She hides them. It's said that since that incident, Catherine has begun to carefully craft the narrative of Diana, choosing when to speak about her, how to answer difficult questions, and when to let silence speak louder than words. Because the issue isn't just about protecting Charlotte from the past, it's also about preparing her for the future, a future where truth will matter more than tradition, where Charlotte will not only have to navigate the world of crowns and cameras, but also the unspoken expectations and hidden power games. And in that future, Catherine is her silent general. Some may see her silence as passive, but they don't understand her strategy. She doesn't attack. She surrounds, she absorbs, and when the time comes, she defends. In contrast, Camilla is all calculation and distance. And while Catherine displays her natural grace in public, the boundaries remain firm in private, especially now when Charlotte is observing, learning, and growing. And perhaps Catherine's greatest legacy is not her title or her charity work. It may be the emotional fortress she is carefully building around her daughter's soul. The voice of Diana in a modern monarchy. It was never just about the crown or the tears. Princess Diana didn't want to destroy the monarchy. She wanted to humanize it, to whisper the truth into a palace that had forgotten how to listen. And now, nearly 30 years later, her voice still resonates not in rebellion but in legacy. And it is rising through Charlotte. The question is not whether Diana's spirit still exists. That voice echoes through generations, through William's way of raising his children, through Catherine's protection, and now through Charlotte's quiet defiance. The monarchy has tried to move on. Camilla has been renamed. Charles has ascended the throne. New portraits have replaced the old ones. But none of that diminishes Diana's influence. Because her impact hasn't faded, it continues to resonate. And Charlotte is resonating, not through headlines, not through interviews, but through a glance, a step, a whisper. Diana wore jewelry with meaning. Charlotte wears her name with a clear purpose. Diana questioned the institution from within. Charlotte senses the imbalance without anyone saying a word. And that is what the company fears the most. You can fabricate stories, you can manage reputations, but you can't control what a child sees. If Charlotte at just 9 years old can already sense which room is colder, which hand is more sincere, and which smile is empty, then the story is far from over. It's evolving. And in this evolution, Diana's voice has not faded. It is becoming sharper. What will the future hold? The monarchy has always existed through silence, through structure, through traditions wrapped in ceremony. But what happens when the future learns to speak? What happens when that future braids her hair, asks questions, and bows only when it feels right? What happens when her name is Charlotte? The monarchy now stands on the edge. William is the heir. Catherine is the heart. But Charlotte may be the change they have never seen before because she is not rebellious. She is reflecting, and her reflection is what the crown has tried to control for generations, the truth of humanity. The question isn't whether she will become queen. It's how she will become a queen. A woman living in truth like Diana, one shaped in warmth like Catherine, or one weaving through shadows like Camilla. She may still be many years away from titles or duties, but her presence carries weight. Her instincts have made people wary behind the palace walls. Her voice, no matter how soft, is bending the steel of centuries-old tradition. The future is not in the throne. It lies in the child who one day may choose not to sit on it. And if that child has whispered the truth, the crown should listen. Because what Charlotte sees now will shape the next monarchy. And if Diana's light truly exists, it will burn brightly within her. The crown, the whispers, and the calculations, they've tried to write a new chapter. A chapter where the crown shines untouched by the past. But as each whisper from Charlotte grows louder, that polished story begins to crack. Those within the royal family hope that time will soften Diana's legacy, that Camilla's crown will shine brightly in her own way. But now the past is not just returning. It is asserting itself through the smallest voices within the family. William knows this. Catherine is wary of it. And Charlotte, she simply reflects it without filter, without fear. And so the monarchy stands at a crossroads. The crown still rests on Charles's head, but the future is quietly taking shape in school hallways, garden paths, and the whispered questions behind palace doors. A child asks why some people pretend to be kind, and suddenly the history of many generations echoes through that question. Because once a whisper is spoken, it cannot be taken back, and the truth it carries cannot either. Camilla's crown and Diana's curse. Each royal title holds its own weight, but none is heavier than that of Queen Camilla because her crown is not one given with affection. It is a crown forged through fire. Time has granted her a new appearance. The public has been asked to forget, but the echoes of Diana are not so easily silenced. And now, in the era of Charlotte, that echo resounds even more loudly. Every event, every gesture is observed with sharper eyes. Camilla walks through a family that accepts her presence but rarely embraces it. And Charlotte, quietly, perceptively, unwaveringly, has become the symbol of that unease. Camilla may reign beside a king, but she will never escape the queen who was never crowned. Because Diana left behind more than just sorrow. She left a warning. And Charlotte may be the living reminder of that. Legacy cannot be erased. The palace can edit press releases. The crown can touch up portraits, but legacy is not in the title. It lies in the truth, and Charlotte is the truth. Wrapped in silk, equipped with instinct, she doesn't choose sides, she simply sees what is. Camilla holds the crown, but Diana holds the memory of the world. And through Charlotte, that memory moves, breathes, and waits. No royal decree can control the heart of a child. No ceremony can dictate her emotions. And what Charlotte feels one day may change everything. The question is no longer whether she will see the truth, but what she will do with it when the time comes. Because Diana's story is far from over, and Charlotte may be the one to write its ending. So what does this hidden ring mean for William and the future of the crown? Diana may have gone, but her voice is clearly still there. Thank you for staying until the end. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. We truly appreciate it.